Okay, there we are. Jeez. Howdy, y'all. It's been a crazy month. Ever notice the industries doing the most harm, built on cruelty, destruction, and lies, are the ones drowning in government subsidies? People brag about freedom and capitalism, but there's nothing free and nothing fair about a market propped up by tax-funded violence. Meat and dairy don't survive because they're efficient or because they're necessary. They survive because the state steals your money and hands it to corporations that breed, mutilate, and kill animals by the trillions. If animal ag had to pay its own way, if it had to cover the real cost of the destruction, the sickness, the moral atrocity, it would collapse overnight. That burger you bought for $1, you already paid the other $9 through your taxes, through your health, through your future, through your karma, and vegans pay too. We're forced to bankroll a Holocaust we refuse to take part in. There is no vegan political party. The state doesn't care if you opt out of the violence. You still get the bill. This isn't about food. It's about control. It's about keeping people addicted to suffering, numb, sick, dependent, and calling it culture. There are the conservative. Where are the conservatives with their fiscal responsibility? Gone, because they love bacon more than principles. They look the other way as billions of dollars needlessly goes into propping the meat and dairy industry up. Where are the liberals with their greenwash virtue signaling? Silent, because intersectionality tells them they can't criticize a cultural dietary practice even when it's built on blood. Intersectionality is not justice. It's a government psyop set up to keep us trapped in the two-party paradigm. It turns moral truth into point system. It says who you are matters more than what you are, what you do. Natural law doesn't care about your identity. It cares only if you're violating the rights of sentient beings. That's why natural law veganism stands alone. Subsidizing animal ag is subsidizing evil. If you believe in freedom, truth, justice, or nonviolence, you should be demanding its end. People talk about morality like it's just an opinion. Moral relativists, objectivists, realists circling the same drain. Realism says moral facts exist. Great, but it stops short. It doesn't tell us why they matter. Objectivism says moral truths are universal, then grounds them in human consensus or biology. Fancy relativism in a suit. Relativism, that's just moral collapse dressed up as tolerance. Natural law cuts through the fog. It's not man-made. It's baked into reality, like gravity. You can discover it through conscience, reason, and cause and effect. Ignore it, and consequences follow, individually, collectively, spiritually, materially. And here's the kicker. Applied consistently, natural law demands veganism across the board. Unnecessary violence against sentient beings is wrong. Always. No exceptions for culture, appetite, or tradition. Once you know, you can't not know. And once you know, you have to act. I don't want to sound too much like a boomer, but that's where activism has lost its teeth. The internet turned awareness into a substitute for action. Back in my day, we didn't just talk, we enforced our principles. That's why they called us vegan straight edgers, domestic terrorists in the 90s. We burned down fur farms, sabotaged slaughterhouses, destroyed logging equipment, cut government fences to free wild animals, not for clout, because it was right. Now I see people like Zach and Skylar, sharp, informed, passionate. Jack. His name's Jack. Passionate, raising awareness about elk being starved out by the cattle grazing in Northern California. But when it comes to actually getting those elk through the fence, they freeze. They hope the system will save them. That a YouTube video, a vote, a petition, an angry letter will do the trick. Do you really think voting will save the animals? That a system profiting from their suffering will regulate itself into compassion? Real change doesn't come from petitions. It comes from bolt cutters, from courage, from moral clarity. When something is objectively wrong, not legally wrong, but morally wrong, you don't have to wait for permission. You stop it. The animals aren't dying on the internet. They're dying here, and we need boots on the ground. As always, this show is open and live so that anyone could come up and share their opinion. How's it going, everyone? Let me, oh, what's up, Natalie?
Oh, hey, am I on?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Holy crap.
What's up?
I
How's
just
it going,
noticed she looks
everybody?
like Kayla. How's it going? Good.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for
That's
having me
cool.
on.
Usually there's a bunch of people here. It's kind of cool. We might be able to focus and talk about some stuff. So,
Nice.
were you able to watch my interview with Gary?
Yeah, I watched it today. Yeah, it was pretty good. You definitely touched on some stuff that I think other people have been afraid to bring up. And yeah, I'm
Sorry.
interviewing him on Labor Day, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. I've just kind of thrust myself into this whole I don't know, I don't want to call it drama, but it's like all the drama around Gary, I suppose. And I kind of come from I don't know if you've ever heard of natural law, but I come from kind of hey Joseph.
Hello?
Hey Joseph.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, so are you guys like? Is this kind of about veganism? Is that like the main topic? Because I have a question kind of about that.
Yes, it is.
All right. So,
Are you vegan?
Kind of. I mean, I haven't. Okay, to be honest with you, I'm like
Kind of.
ethically a vegan. Okay, I eat meat, but if I'm being honest, I've kind of thought about myself, and I think people should be more connected to their source. Like, you're gonna eat meat and actually go through the process of doing all of it. Nowadays it's just like big factory farms where they're just kind of slaughtering animals and nobody's actually like respecting the animal. You know what I mean? Like in a spiritual way, like paying homage to the food that they're eating. You know what I'm saying? So I do think I'm kind of leaning towards going vegan is what I'm saying. Like I can see the ethics behind it.
Nice. Well, we would love to have you vegan. What can we do to help you pull the trigger?
Well, I was actually going to ask you guys kind of a political question regarding to that. Have you guys ever heard of this thing going on? It's like a big kind of religious movement in America where they're trying to find like a red heifer cow to sacrifice.
Yeah, I heard all that. It's a Middle Eastern tradition.
Yeah. And so like I guess they want to sacrifice it and burn it. And I just think that's kind of like, I was thinking about it, it just seemed kind of barbaric to me. Like it doesn't seem like something that should be in 2025. And like I don't see a lot of people speaking out about it. So I was like, you know what, maybe vegans would at least agree with me on that, even though I'm not a vegan. Like that's kind of weird, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like a really bad tradition, especially one that people are trying to start here if it's not like already here. I'm curious, do you think there's like a big difference between them doing that versus slaughterhouse workers, gassing pigs to death or chickens being sometimes boiled alive if they're not killed properly? Yeah. Like, is that, so you think that's bad too? Okay, great. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like you're right there with us ethically. Good. Awesome. So it sounds like you're with animal rights ethically. Yeah, once again, like what's holding you back from doing that?
I guess really just because I don't know like where. I guess I would have to like start my own freaking garden or something because I don't know what I guess expenses and just kind of convenience. It's kind of my excuse right now is I don't have I guess I don't have like a source of fresh produce that I could just trust, like, just get it from a farmer or neighbor or something like that. But I've definitely thought about stopping eating meat, and I guess I should give more thought to it.
So Joseph, what kind of where would you consider yourself in the political spectrum?
I guess like kind of middle, I suppose.
Middle?
Politics person, I guess. Yeah, I would say kind of just like I'm not, to be honest with you, I don't really like politics. You know what I mean? Like the whole right, left thing, all of that. I just kind of have my own ideas, my own ethics or whatever, my own philosophies. And then, yeah, I don't really fit onto like I would say like a political spectrum. But see, like I agree with people on all sides on certain things. So like I saw this was a show about vegan. It's pretty cool. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, so this, especially tonight, we're talking about politics in veganism. So it's actually kind of interesting that you're here because you might learn something
Okay.
interesting.
Like if you have
Um,
okay, I'll let you guys take it away then. I was just gonna pop in for a sec.
Yeah, so
Um,
I mean, one of the big things in, at least in the U.S. with politics, is that our government subsidizes the meat and dairy industry so much so that without it, the industry would completely collapse. I've owned a few goats before, and it was shocking how much money I had to spend to keep those animals healthy and fed and safe and all that stuff. And it made me realize how economically insane it is to grow animals for food, because you end up spending way more on the animal that you actually make back when you chop up the animal in pieces and sell it to your neighbors. It's only when you have government subsidizing the tradition, where it's, I mean, they're paying for 80% of the meat that you're eating through taxing you backwards. You know, you're paying for your meat through your taxation, basically. And then you're paying for it when you go to the store and buy it. Without that, I don't know if you're into, fiscal conservatism as far as like small government or getting rid of like government spending money and taxing people. Yeah, if that's what you're into, then that's basically, one of the big arguments is that without it, people would be forced, without the government subsidizing it, people would all be forced to be vegan by default. And a lot of people don't understand that like billions of dollars goes into soy and corn and the feed, and then tax exemption for the farmers and all kinds of stuff to make it actually make sense to keep this tradition going that economically doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. Sorry, I was just going to cut in real quick, but you go ahead, and then I just want to talk more about like the idea that veganism is expensive. But go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, it seems like evolutionarily today, it even seems like we're supposed to eat more like plant-based diet, because if, say, like the whole grid shut down, the grocery stores all shut down, I don't think your average human in the modern times could go out and actually successfully hunt like squirrels, you know what I mean, or like sustain themselves.
A couple weeks,
like it seems like we're more gone. Yeah, like it almost seems like we've evolved as life's been more sedentary to be a more like herbivore, or like that, herbivore creature.
Yeah,
I may be wrong, but
maybe. I mean, not who knows?
Possible.
I think we were already supposed to eat that way. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing, just to touch on that real quick, is that people have this idea that early humans evolved like primarily eating meat, but when they actually looked at something in their teeth, they found they were eating about 100 grams of fiber every day, which is like a crazy amount of plants. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't necessarily think about evolution. We should think about, because all evolution cares about, right, is that we survive and reproduce, and then we can die. Like, it doesn't care. But what we want are healthy, long-term good health outcomes. And there's pretty good evidence that vegan diets are great for preventing heart disease, certain forms of cancer. And you mentioned like having to go to buy fresh produce or something really difficult. We don't have to do that. Like, we can just shop at any grocery stores. We can be vegan in food deserts. Vegan diets on average are about 30% cheaper than omnivore diets, even with all these crazy subsidies that way artificially lower the cost of animal products. So it actually is super convenient and
okay. I didn't know that. Dang.
Yeah, it's crazy.
20-pound bags of rice are cheap, man.
Yeah,
rice and beans.
You're not vegan either, right? So what like no cheese, right? You guys don't eat dairy, right? And
there's really good vegan cheeses. You'd be surprised, man.
Yeah.
The technology's come quite a way. You won't be able to. You wouldn't be able to taste the difference with a lot of these substitutions that we have these days. And then you try them, and you're like, is it worth all the harm that goes into the meat and dairy industry to have something that just tastes slightly different?
Oh, dude, I completely agree. I think humans. I think it's their natural a lot of texts like about animals or like this kind of predator prey system. I don't think this is a natural state. If we were to make, then I don't think it would like this predator prey type of system. I think it would be more like, agrarian kind of farming, and everybody's kind of growing their own food and not having to kill stuff. And then humans not having to war with each other. Like once humans can get to the point where they can stop fighting each other, I'm sure that maybe then they can be like, all right, maybe we should be killing these animals. Nowadays, humans to get along.
What do you think if we did the reverse? Like if people were raised thinking, hey, we shouldn't even kill animals, how likely do you think they would be to kill other humans?
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be good too. Yeah, I do think there's definitely a connection to that. Like every little thing, as you're growing into an adult is programming your mind in a way. Like people used to say, oh, don't play video games, it'll make you more violent. And I don't think that's true. People doing something or looking at something or taught something, it will affect like the periphery of people. So yeah, I think when kids are raised like, hey, we're going to kill this animal and eat it, and like that's what we do, definitely I think that makes like a culture of sort of death or sacrifice.
Well, and like if you're into, I mean, I don't know, a lot of people believe in the Bible and stuff like that, and there were a lot of interpolations later on. If you go back and look at a lot of the early stuff, I mean, the Garden of Eden was vegan. There was a lot of talk about flesh eating versus not flesh eating in the Bible. And later on, things got changed a little bit. You mentioned earlier something about, what was it? The red heifer, yeah. Oh, so sacrifice, that was the word. Sacrifice, we're supposed to sacrifice our lives to being good people. Sacrifice never was meant to be, kill animals and then eat them afterwards. So they don't go to waste. It was, it was about us sacrificing ourselves and taking care of, the environment and the world and being good people. It's not the whole Bible thing. It's all about compassion. So, one of the earliest contradictions,
exactly.
There's a lot of, it's almost like they're showing you contradictions to test you to see if you can check, if you have the discernment to figure that out. But
dude, I completely agree.
Yeah. What's up, Darren? You there?
Yeah. What up, guys?
Chilling. Hey, how's it going? I'm Natalie.
Go ahead, Natalie. I think you were wanting to say something after my little rant.
No, I said my piece on the vegan just not being more expensive. I feel I really relate to you, Joseph, because before I went vegan, I was like, man, I think it's so inconvenient and hard to do. And I'm like, I struggle to just do like going to the gym, stuff like that. Turns out being vegan is way easier than going to the gym. And it's just, I wish I had known earlier, but I do also want to make a point that veganism isn't just about what you eat. It's a hard stance against animal exploitation in general. So that would also be like not wearing leather, not wearing fur, just not supporting any industries that use and abuse animals. Is that kind of something you're in line with morally? Like, what do you think about that sort of stuff?
Yeah. Like I've never gone out of my house like, let me put on my fox skin or whatever. So I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't personally judge individuals that do or whatever. Like if someone is like, hey, I just went hunting, I got some jerky or whatever, I tell them like, that's not really my thing or whatever. I guess it depends like situationally, but like overall on a grand scale, I definitely think it's wrong. Like I think people are just kind of unwillingly, like, I think there's a lot of unwilling to the system. They're not like, just like flat out evil. They just kind of have been going along with the system and this factory farming and, what you said they do to pigs and cows and all that. So yeah, I think there's definitely a spiritual evil to it somewhere at the top. You know what I mean? I can't really put my finger on where it stems from, but it's definitely, in my opinion, there's some kind of evil forces behind it, behind all of that sacrifice, as he was saying.
So what's it going to take?
Man, I don't know. I guess more people like y'all to speak out about it, really.
What's it going to take for you to go vegan?
I guess. I mean, I've never really talked to anyone who was like, who told me like, you know what, do it, man. So I guess I could try like tomorrow. I guess I just got to quit eating meat. I got to quit stopping and getting burgers after work or whatever.
That'll
Yeah.
How do you feel
I mean,
how do you feel about watching documentaries?
I like documentaries a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. So put this in YouTube, Dominion 2018. Watch that. You won't
Okay.
even want those animal products anymore. Like, it's great. The day I watched that, I
Dominion
went
20.
vegan the day before in my head, but the day I watched that was the day I like really went vegan.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Domain 2018. Cool.
Dominion.
So
Dominion.
you feel Dominion.
Dominion.
Okay, yeah, I found it. Dominion. There we go.
Dominion.
Okay, cool. I found it.
There's a lot of really good vegan documentaries, for sure.
Hey guys,
Oh, what's up, David? How's it going?
good. Thank you. What's up?
So I was talking about earlier, I've kind of fallen into this the drama storm around Gary and Urofsky, and learning about intersectionality and learning about this Gary's takes on eradicating it's Gary's and vegan Gaines's and like a bunch of these. I've heard this stuff before and I've always been like, what the hell? And I talked to Dave Rams about it a little bit, but I didn't really fully understand what was going on. And I'm kind of trying to learn here because I feel like there's a middle ground. And I'm coming from a movement that's very oriented. It is a vegan movement called the Natural Law Movement, but veganism's kind of like on the is the second thing priority below human liberation. It's a human liberation movement
first, then we can liberate.
Yeah, and like I'm the crazy vegan over there. Everyone thinks I'm nuts. They're like, "You're so vegan, you're crazy." And like most of the people over there are vegetarian, and then over here, I've never been a part of. I first went vegan in the 90s, and like vegans all stuck together, and I've never seen vegans fight before, and it's been kind of wild. But I talked to Gary a couple weeks ago, and I was warned so much preceding interviewing Gary. So many people came out of the woodwork. I was blown away because I don't shy away from controversial subjects. I'd rather, instead of talking all day about the things we have in common, I'd rather figure out the things, talk about the things we have not in common and see if we can figure them out. Because I know on the internet we can talk all this shit and not actually talk to each other. And and I know when I've done lots of interviews, when I get us all in the same room, everyone's a lot nicer and we actually see each other's positions more. And when I interviewed Gary, he kind of changed his story on a lot of things, or at least changed the story that I heard through the grapevine. I had assumed lots of things. I don't know if he's, he was being 100% genuine about everything, but it seemed like a lot of people were getting really bent out of shape about a bunch of words, and we're all arguing kind of and wasting time, on Gary's words, when we could like be honing ourselves into super bomb activists. Not that we aren't already, but like even better. But yeah, and then this episode, I just wanted to talk about politics and how I believe it's really screwing up veganism. The fact that, at least in the United States, that if you ask someone on the street which political party they would think a vegan is, they're going to think they're a liberal, and that's probably really not helping out in the United States because it's a minority. Very, very, very close, but still, it's hard to win over. Yeah.
Can I ask what you are politically? I'm
an anarchist. I'm an anarchist.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. I don't hear many
is the worst.
anarchists. Okay. I mean, I respect all political spectrum people. So, and you said you're also kind of a vegan Puritan, like a Puritan in the vegan community, or like they would see you as more of a kind of purist, I guess.
Purist. I'm not sure what you mean. You'd have to define that.
Like you said, like a more extreme vegan in like your ethical views, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think everyone
Oh.
should be vegan, and that seems extreme to a lot of people.
It's crazy because it's not extreme though. Like what's actually
Yeah,
extreme,
I don't think it is at all.
torturing animals, and we're just the ones like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that, and then it's like, oh, you're extreme,
Or militant. The
Yeah.
word militant gets
Yeah.
thrown around a lot, and I'm like, I'm not.
Dude.
I haven't burned
Yeah.
down a farm in a long time. Like I'm not doing all this stuff anymore. So I would say, there's definitely more militant people than all of us making videos on YouTube. But yeah, and then being an anarchist is very interesting because I left the two-party paradigm, the whole liberal versus conservative thing. I grew up in Southern California as a liberal. I became a libertarian for a long time and then went hard anarchist because there's nothing, government's not doing anything good, and we could definitely do things better without them. They definitely aren't. They definitely support and keep the animal ag industry going. We could definitely do better without government around supporting that industry.
Yeah, they're
so
destroying
I kind of want to talk about tonight. Are these things so in looking into intersectionality, I agreed with a bunch of stuff because there are it's a kind of like an interesting thing, but then it's very much not at the same time. And I don't know whose side, I guess, what was I saying? As an anarchist, it's just, I see the two-party thing and the politics and fighting over politics, and it just makes me cringe because I know it's a CIA op. Everything's been co-opted and used to keep us all fighting and distracted from the real issues or distracted from our original point. The meat and dairy industry has been suffering for the last decade. What better thing to do but put billions of dollars into marketing and get these carnivore dieters going and try and, just lie to everyone into buying more meat. And yeah. So,
dude, I know y'all are onto something because you're right about the. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off David there, but I was just gonna say I know y'all are really onto something because what you just said is right about all the liver kings and everything. They're really pushing like meat, raw meat
at the same time.
Yeah, that's what It's kind of fishy. You know what I mean?
Remember the first time you saw Dr. Baker on Rogan, and he was this guy only eats meat. I was like, oh my God. And now it's like every guy meat on the road, on the street. And we just did, our last episode was called the brainwashing of generations, which was this guy in the middle, Matthew North, basically exposed how, all these guys have brainwashed the world.
But dude, that guy died, didn't he?
Yeah, he was found under weird circumstances after making this video. Everyone should watch this video. It's very interesting, but it's all tied into the meat and dairy industry and all that stuff. Obviously, meat and dairy industry gave Joe a lot of money to push all the keywords and all that stuff. Billions and billions of dollars.
They have a Masters of Beef advocacy program that you can go through, and it's free. They're trying to basically create an army of influencers, and you learn all this complete rubbish that's not true at all, this propaganda that they're spreading. And, they've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into that program. They've spent at least 8 million, probably more, demonizing plant-based meats. So it is absolutely, that's why I think that we do need to get into politics as vegans, because the meat and dairy industry has so much influence in the political sphere. I think we need to counteract that.
No, but that's the problem. What do people understand by veganism? They understand that it is a diet, and it is a vegetarian diet, and it is not. It is a principle that humans, in general, should live without exploiting animals, without using them, because that's the other problem. People don't understand what the word exploitation means in the context of veganism, and that's a whole problem. That the guy, Joseph, Joseph is not aware what we are talking about here because he's not being.
I mean, we explained it.
Yeah, I just explained it. But
Well, I said the definition.
we are still talking
before.
about meat. We are still talking about meat as if it was the whole point of veganism.
Oh no, I get the ethics behind it. I would call myself an ally in your cause. I personally need to commit to like my diet, but I completely understand the and like the spiritual principles behind it. Like I don't think it's right to. I've never killed an animal in my life, yet I ate cheeseburgers. So like that's what made me feel like, you know what, I'm kind of being hypocritical because someone had to kill this animal. So I understand where you guys are coming from completely. I respect it.
Yeah, but do you look for synthetic belts whenever you buy shoes or belts? Do you look for synthetic?
No, well,
that's it. There you go.
I'm kind of I kind of do like I'm kind of always been a conspiracy theorist where I look at. I've always kind of known they're putting all these hormones and bad things in meat and vegetables, like spraying them with pesticides and all this. So yeah, I'm usually pretty careful about stuff. Like if I picked up a belt and it said killed from so and so animal, I definitely would not buy it. You know what I mean? But I guess I do need to be more conscientious, I guess is the word.
So Joseph, do you know the difference between plant-based and vegan?
No, I guess not. No, so plant-based just means, you know, like something that doesn't have any meat in it, right?
Well, the plant-based movement is kind of like it's almost like vegetarianism. It's about health, probably. You know, someone's doing it for health reason or a diet-focused reason. Where veganism is a moral and ethic stance. A lot of carnists want to talk about a lot about diet, but it's not really, you know, and like I'll debate people about diet all day about veganism, but it's not about diet. It's about ethics and morality and doing less harm and knowing when you die that your karmic inventory is low compared to everyone else in the world, and you actually put something positive into the world instead of contributing to it being a terrible place by, you know, putting all this bad karma out into the world. And yeah, it might not immediately slap you in the face, but it causes ripples in the whole world, and that's kind of why we're in such a shitty place morally. You know, killing humans, killing humans still. Yeah. Humans killing humans still, humans killing animals unnecessarily still.
It's a cycle. Yeah. What would you say your spirituality is? I guess like you mentioned karma and stuff. I guess what made you first start thinking about these things, or what's kind of your spiritual foundation for it?
Oh, so I'm into natural law. I wouldn't say I'm like a religious person. I'm down for Jesus, but I'm not really a Christian. I think Jesus was a vegan. I think from the research I've done, the Essenians, the Nazarenes, they were non-flesh eaters. There's a movie you should definitely watch called Christspiracy, along with Dominion. You don't like it, David?
I've looked into the Nazarenes. I've looked into
No, I don't like it. The whole point is not about whatever conviction you have about some divine.
Well, it's a cool story. It's not necessarily a conviction.
It doesn't have anything to do with that. But you know, feminism is not based on whatever religion says about it. If it was, they'd be fucked. So the whole point of veganism has nothing to do with religion or
no, it definitely doesn't.
It has to do with
it's fun
with you know, basic decency. It's just basic decency towards other sentient individuals from other species.
Yeah. So
regardless of whatever you believe about you know, creation or whatever you believe that happens after you die, it is a moral obligation to stop using other sentient individuals as if they belong to you.
Yeah, it's all about what we're doing now. It's not about preparing for something, for getting saved by something in the future. Like heaven is now. We're supposed to be taking advantage of things now to the fullest. And what we do now definitely matters. Oh, what's up, Ariane? Ariane should be up here. Oh, bummer. So
Hey,
yeah.
David, where are you from, man? Can I ask where you're from, David? Your accent?
Yeah, I'm from Colombia.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
Colombia,
nice.
Bogota,
Colombia.
Colombia. Yeah.
I
Nice.
lived in Nicaragua for a while. Central America is pretty dope.
Yeah, I heard Central and South America are pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Nicaragua is a very stigmatized place in the United States, but when I went there, it was awesome. So anyway, what were we talking about?
And by the way, that I wanted to say something about that, because you guys were talking about hormones and the animal products and that stuff. Sometimes here in Colombia that doesn't happen. So what? It doesn't have anything to do with the respect that people owe to these animals. So I don't think that talking about hormones gets to the point of veganism.
Definitely. So let me pull up some questions. So I don't know. Why don't I guess Natalie, if like I guess if the system profits so much off the meat and dairy industry, like how are we supposed to change that? Like using the same system that like I mentioned earlier, there's no vegan political party. There's no vegan president.
Other countries have like animal rights political parties. I think Australia has one. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely we definitely have a lot of work to do. I don't think you can immediately change the system like that. But there's, I know David's against lab-grown meat. I think as long as it's not hurting any animals, I think that could be a really good solution. When we show people that there are profitable industries besides exploiting animals, then they can be more likely to do that. The price of raising animals is going up. We can change the subsidies. We can become I like to think about it as the NRA of animal rights, like the National Rifle Association in the US is incredibly powerful. Even though most voters want stricter gun regulations, politicians don't fight for it because they have the NRA to deal with, which is a huge voter block, where essentially they say that if you don't support us, then we're going to withdraw all our support, which is millions of voters, right? So they need those votes from the NRA. So if we could create something like that for animals, and then when they go against animals, we'll withdraw our support, then it puts pressure on the politicians to actually follow through for the animals.
No, I disagree with that. It's the right wing politicians here in my country are the ones that have the most land in the country, and they have the animals there to sell the animal products. And right now we have a left-wing president, and many vegans here. Vegans, I say vegans because they don't understand what the veganism is about. Voted for this guy because he was going to help animals. One of the first things that he did was to open the illegal slaughterhouses because it was going to make animal products cheaper for poor people. And this guy's, it's about convincing poor people that he is the guy that defends them. So that there you go.
Well, do they have an organized voter bloc, or you're just talking about a small group of vegans? It doesn't sound very organized or like they put any political pressure on them.
No,
So it's not really equivalent.
listen, there are like 3 senators here who supposedly defend animals, and one of them get married on a horse because he's like some sort of Krishna type of guy, and he went to some teepee. I don't know, some sort of ceremony with some, and he had to enter the place on a horse. So he did that. He claims to be vegan. Another supposed vegan campaigns for cage-free eggs. I mean, she really campaigns for that. It's like welfareism, classic welfareism, and she claims to be vegan. And another one is not even vegan. Is I think she's not even vegetarian, and she was the one who passed the law against bullfighting here in this country. So there you go. Those are the people who supposedly defend animals from the politics.
But she outlawed bullfighting, or she said it was okay?
Sorry, come again?
What happened with the bullfighting? She passed a law to end it.
Yeah, she passed a law to end bullfighting, and she's not even a vegetarian. So, and she's regarded as this hero for the animals that she eats and that she exploits for leather. So that's a huge problem for veganism, because veganism is regressing to the point where it was to the point where animal welfare was before 1944. So people believe that veganism is a stance against cruelty, and this animal exploiter is regarded as an animal hero because she passed a law against bullfighting. And
but it's better to have the law against bullfighting than to have it still be legal.
Really, right? None of those
people don't follow the law, though.
Listen, none of those bulls have been saved because the law is going to be enforced next year, and I think next year, or well, but anyway, the next government can how do you say that?
Like switch it back.
Yeah, can
get rid of it. Can like
get rid
back it out of the law.
Yeah. So
but it depends.
Basically, those bulls were never saved at all, and they celebrated for like months that there's no bullfighting anymore in Colombia. So what? Those bulls who were going to be in an arena are going to the slaughterhouse.
So, but then they won't breed more for bullfighting specifically.
No, you don't understand. Like bulls are raised for meat, like as a standard. Like some of them, which are like more I don't know, like bigger, and they look great in the arena. So they select those for bullfighting, but the ones that don't go to the arena, they go to the slaughterhouse anyway, because not all of not all of those bulls go to the arenas to be slaughtered by
You're saying that there's going to be the same number of bulls bred regardless of if there's bullfighting.
Yeah.
Because gotcha. Yeah, because in like a lot of horse racing industries, they're bred specifically. But it's probably different in Colombia. I don't know what it's like there.
But it's not about calculations. It's not about calculations about how many, maybe 2,000 bulls are raised for bullfighting events in Colombia each year. Maybe more, 5,000, 10,000. just one neighborhood in Bogota, I think they eat like 500 bulls every lunch. So what is the point of doing these calculations? Because these calculations have nothing to do with the mindset that people have against those animals, because they still see them as resources.
Yeah. Can I
So
give you my 2 cents really quick?
yeah,
I,
sure.
I was going to say, my opinion, one way forward for vegans, like he said about the mindset thing, I think the global governance is entirely compromised. I don't think there's a way within the framework of politics for vegans to somehow, a guy to come to power and say, hey, we need to stop killing animals. I think more than likely the best way would almost be sort of a parallel society, kind of like the Amish, but like it has to be kind of a grassroots thing. People growing their own food, teaching their kids, hey, we don't raise animals just to kill them. Like animals are our friends. Over time,
Well,
teaching
in a,
us kind of.
in a
Sorry, yeah,
society without government, there'd be able to be communities like that where we can do that. But I have a question. Why do we need lab grown meat with so many other substitutes that are awesome? It seems like almost another co-opted issue just to get people arguing to me.
I think it's weird.
Yeah, I think I could answer that. Is that like when I said lab grown, I don't necessarily mean like only lab grown. That could also be cell culture, precision fermentation. Like they already have the animal-free whey powder, and the reason people like food like that is because they want the same nutrition as meat in terms of the macronutrients, like the protein, fat, carbs. So a lot of the plant-based substitutes will have protein, but they'll also have carbs and fat. So for people who, I disagree with that, by the way. I think that carbs, fat, and protein are all great. But I do think that if we could offer someone something that's like, okay, it tastes exactly the same, it's the same nutrition, I think they're more likely to switch. At least that's what non-vegans tell me all the time. I thought before I went vegan, like, oh, I can't go vegan, but I could definitely eat lab-grown meat when it comes out. So I just think it increases our chances of getting people to switch.
You know what would happen here in Colombia if lab-grown flesh was a thing? They would lie. Like a lot of places would lie, and they would say, well, we have lab-grown stuff for you, like the vegans, but utilitarians, people who don't reject the idea that animals are resources. So, no, don't worry, that's lab-grown. Yeah, they would say that, and law is not enforced here. A lot of things that may not happen in the U.S. or Europe happen here, because whoever has the money can twist the law to their advantage. To their advantage. So, no, that lab-grown flesh wouldn't fly here, even in your utilitarian calculations, because the same amount of animals would be exploited for something else, or who knows, or there are illegal slaughterhouses here, and the people know where they are, and nothing happens because it's very normalized that people eat meat from those places. So no,
I guess usually when I speak about stuff, I am just kind of speaking more from the U.S. perspective, because that's where I live, that's where I work. In the U.S., there are regulatory agencies where they couldn't just lie about the products on the shelves. So I do think it's a bit different.
Yeah, but veganism is not about how to reduce the number in industrialized countries. It's about humans as a collective stopping using animals because they believe it's wrong. And lab-grown flesh reinforces the idea that animals are here for us to eat them. The lab-grown flesh, but it's just one. That's just one form of exploitation. There are many forms of exploitation, and there are even sanctuaries who exploit animals because they want people to donate money so that they can live in the countryside in a very nice house in the countryside. So they want animals there for to get donations and live off the donations, and that's animal exploitation. It's like all people like this little farm. So I'm going to get some animals and live in a very nice house in the countryside. And it's they are instrumentalizing those animals. Some of those people who have sanctuaries. Some of those people are very dangerous, but there are many sanctuaries who exploit animals for wool and even eggs, and they call themselves sanctuaries. So,
Yeah, I think it would
question.
take a huge. I was just gonna say, I think it would take a huge spiritual like shift or mentality shift, or a lot of time before the whole world got on the same page with this. Because like, there's a lot of places in the Middle East and desert areas where if you told them like, "Hey, we're discussing veganism over here in the West," like they couldn't even conceive that, because their everyday diet consists of like animals, like they just going to school, walking to school or whatever, and it's just what they have. So I think it'll take either a really long time or something major to happen to shift people's mind to where everyone can agree like, hey, we shouldn't be exploiting animals like this.
I agree. I think it's going to take a spiritual awakening and not laws, not force, because laws are force at the end of the day. They're government holding a gun to your head saying, if you don't do this, we're going to throw you in jail until you die, basically. So I don't see that as being a healthy way to go about getting veganism. Force. I have another question.
Well,
say like,
just respond
yeah,
to
go
that
ahead.
real
Go
quick?
ahead.
Or like,
Yeah.
I just kind of want to touch on, I guess what I'm hearing is that like the government shouldn't just force people to do things because we want the choice to come from them, right? Like they should decide to stop exploiting animals. Like that would be ideal. But I think a lot of times what people underestimate is the power that the law has over influencing people's behavior. Like one example I use a lot would be marijuana or like legal cannabis. When it was illegal, people considered it much more immoral, much more dangerous. And then the cannabis movement worked really hard to get medical marijuana and then eventually recreational marijuana in about half of US states. And then when that happened, the public started thinking about it a completely different way. And now most people do approve of it recreationally. So
the problem
it's also
is when they
but that was also coming from
legalized-
ballot initiatives. So the voters were actually voting to legalize it in a lot of those cases.
So unfortunately, when they legalized marijuana, at least in California, it brought on 150 new laws and taxes going towards the prohibition, and where if we had decriminalized marijuana, it wouldn't have been an issue anymore. And that's kind of a good metaphor for what I'm talking about here. When you go to the government and beg them to do something, you're always going to get screwed in the end somehow. It's like legalizing weed sounded great, but guess what? In California, no one got thrown in for 12, 13 years. No one got thrown in jail for weed. But the second they legalized it, it put laws on the books that threw people in jail for weed again, actually taking a massive step back from the gray kind of decriminalization that it had for so long.
Do you have any like data on that? Like how many more people got arrested in California?
There are studies on it. There are plenty of studies. I don't have them on me. I have a video about it. I can send you the video later because I talked to a guy. I debated a guy who actually worked on the legalization campaign and talked to him about it. And it's we went over some interesting studies. I lived in LA and like I got pulled over with weed and the cops don't even look at it. They give it back to me for so many years before it was legal. And now you get caught driving with weed, you're in trouble. You're going to go to jail. And then if it's federal, there's still the feds. So it's not actually really legal still. So that's a whole different story.
It's not legal to have it in your car. Or you
Not
mean
if
not
you're
able to
not if
drive
they
under
can
the
tell.
influence?
Not if you got red eyes and
Yeah.
cotton mouth. They're gonna pin it
DWI
on you.
type thing.
Yeah, yeah. Where
Ron
there was
Paul,
fuck yeah,
Ron
Ron
Paul
Paul
would
was the shit.
decriminalize it.
Yeah, Ron Paul got me into all this stuff
Thank
a
you.
long time ago. But yeah, so yeah, using. I mean, in my opinion, so let's say, okay, that's the question I wanted to ask. Let's say these earthling ed types that are generating millions and millions of dollars every year, which turns
he makes
into a
that
lot
much?
of tax money. He has a bunch of people who work for him. I don't know. You got to make a lot of money to have a bunch of people working for you. And I don't
If
know.
you know
He's
the
a pretty
donor-
big, maybe not millions and millions and millions, but he's making a lot of money, generating a lot of tax revenue that goes straight into animal subsidies. With no, like we could, there would have to be a study to find out how effective he is at this point. So, like, is it worth keeping, if we're allowing, the vegan message to contribute to taxation, which turns right into animal ag subsidies, like what do you guys think about that?
It kind of sounds like kind of an appeal to futility, because like you could just be saying anything we do is going to be giving money to the tax subsidies, because that's true. We can't control where our taxes go.
You can. I mean, you can control how much you contribute. You can deal in cryptocurrency. You could take donations in cryptocurrency. You can give up a lot. A lot of these people are still very much materialists. They're still very into buying nice cars and shit. And that's all contributing more to taxation. And there's this thing called agorism, which is like the fine art of getting the government out of your life and allowing yourself not to be taken advantage by them, and basically limiting the amount of material support you give to the government. Because guess what? Guess what's going to happen to those subsidies once the government, for some reason can't print money anymore. Those subsidies are going to go away. And if all of a sudden, every vegan cuts their taxation by 3/4, that's quite a bit of material support being taken away that could possibly go towards not the meat and dairy industry and getting rid of the actual subsidies that are the worst part about it, instead of, in dealing with like environmental, things in our own environment, small issues, like going after the actual root of the problem, which is government subsidies, keeping the whole thing going. And I mean, I know it's very cliche, but you're never going to change the system from within. Activists for hundreds of years have been trying to do that. It's harder to do that now more than ever. While you may be able to get a couple ballot initiatives pushed through, the core pro-meat and dairy, pro-war, pro-taxation, pro-military state, all of that is going to keep going no matter how you vote, or no matter how many people you convince to vote a different way. I just don't see the forceful way of doing it as being the right way or align with our ethics. If we do care about humans also, if we're not the Gary Yourofsky who doesn't give a shit about humans and just cares about animals. So it's a very interesting conversation for everyone to be having, I think. But I don't like seeing everyone fighting about it, because I think we can talk about it like adults. And we're all vegans here. There's not like fake vegans. I see that word being thrown around a lot. If you're a vegan activist, you're more of a vegan than someone who, believes in something else but doesn't do vegan activism. Yeah, I don't know.
So your main argument would just be we need to get rid of government.
Oh yeah. There's far better ways of doing things than how we're doing them now. Government doesn't do anything right. Government is involved in a lot of psychological operations that are going on with us. They've co-opted all the movements that are worth a damn, and they've shoved the movements that aren't worth going after down our throats to distract us from the right things. These social justice issues are a big distraction from the fact that government is fucking all of us equally.
Yep.
When you start paying attention to small groups, you just lose me, because it's like, no, we're all fucking human, and we're all being screwed by the powers that be, whoever the fuck they are. You know, like, once we start, oh, we got to treat this group a certain way, or let this group get away with this, then it's endless. It's a can of worms. Then everyone gets some sort of pass on everything, and we wind up kind of in the mess we're in now.
How do you propose we change that?
Gauge what?
Change the government.
The agorism thing I mentioned earlier, not completely bending over for government any chance they get, not supporting their, I mean, the American political system is a reality TV show to distract us from the fact that we have no choice whatsoever. And so if we're going to be spending 90% of our energy in a system that won't actually change anything, you know, it's kind of a bummer and a waste of a lot of energy and a lot of good activism. And, you know, it's like, activism's really hard. And like, you know, like what I talked about with Gary, like you get burnt out after a while, and it's like, it's bummed going in the wrong direction, chasing and putting so much energy into something in a system that's set up to screw you. It's set up to not let you get an advantage of it. So rejecting the system, and our government is 90% in our heads also. So there's a lot of work to be done, kind of unlearning all the brainwashing that we've had done to us since birth, saying that government actually knows how to do things better than anyone else. Because political, positions of power, like attract psychopaths, like flies to dog shit. Yeah, it's like we're gonna like I was pretty surprised Gary had such an anti-government stance, but he you know, hit the nail on the head when he's just like, so we're gonna like trust these psychos to take care of animals at some point. We're gonna convince psychopaths to have enough compassion to take care of animals. It just seems like a huge waste of time to me, when we could be fully rejecting the system, fully taking away material support, fully abandoning their voting system, which doesn't fucking work.
But animals shouldn't wait until people reject taxation or go somewhere else, because, you know, all these people talking about I oppose the war somewhere where my government is funding the war. They are not willing to go somewhere else to stop contributing to that.
Well,
but my point is,
there's no other place to go. Like, even when I went to Nicaragua, like, I was supporting a communist society that really, you know, they have an interesting form of communism where they don't take too much from the people, but they're still, you know, taking a lot from the people there that don't have anything. And it's like, okay, like, there's no way of getting around it. So you have to make it in your life. You have to teach it. You have to, you know, make it be something real that you actually practice in your life instead of just talking about it on the internet. And that's how we change everything.
Yeah, but wherever you go, you're going to contribute to the animal exploitation from that government. But
yeah, of course.
The point that I was trying to make is animals shouldn't wait until we sort that out. Vegan education is the path to a better understanding of the relationship between humans and other animals, and that's what we need to focus on. And that the movement that started in 1944 didn't say, well, we have to do this politically, or we have to do. Now, it was a movement relying on education, on changing mindsets, and everybody's talking about lab-grown flesh and shooting lions in the head because they don't understand what the point of veganism is. which is that humans should stop perceiving animals as if they were merchandise, stuff that belonged to them.
Yeah.
That is not
But that
achieved
takes
by any law
law.
or prohibition campaigns. Like you guys are trying to ban fur or have been trying to ban fur.
I was
for
trying to ban fur in the 90s.
how
Like
many
it never
decades?
happened.
Yeah. How many decades?
Yeah. You
know?
can't
Yeah.
make a law that gives people
Well, it's
compassion.
banned in California
Instead-
now. It's banned in about 25
Instead-
countries now.
Yeah,
Instead of spreading
after all
veganism.
these years, it's taken a
I
long
mean,
time.
the amount of animals killed for fur is like so much lower than it was.
Yeah.
People don't perceive fur as positively as they used to. Like it's made a real big
Yeah,
dent in the
but you
fur.
go.
And after a
But
couple
you go
years
to
of
an anti-fur-
vegans not paying attention to it, the industry will pay lawyers to go in and flip that law back. Like,
Yeah, but you
that's
go.
just how
You
the
go to
system
an
works.
No,
anti-fur.
because they'll be out of
Always been
business.
Yeah, but Natalie, you go to an anti-fur protest and you see a lot of non-vegans there.
Yep.
And they reject the
Oh, at the
cruelty
fur
for-
protest?
the
Most
cruelty
people at
for
fur
furs,
protests are vegan.
but they don't reject the cruelty for eggs. So, or the cruelty for leather, which is even more absurd. They reject only the hairs. If
When's
it's
the last time you
leather,
went to a
they
fur
don't reject
protest?
it. Sorry.
When's the last time that you went to a fur protest?
I have never gone to a fur protest.
Okay.
But I know.
Well, the
But
ones
I
I've been
know
to, like people are overwhelmingly vegan.
Overwhelmingly
Probably.
is
Like I've only ever met
it's
one
part of what-
non-vegan
it's part
at
of what
a fur protest.
it's all really one of the, because I have seen in New York City, like I don't know, thousands of people outside some designer store, and it doesn't achieve anything at all because
They've had
those
a lot of
people.
success with getting
Yeah.
different brands to drop fur, and the industry's in a
so-
much worse place than it was a few years ago.
Natalie, but they don't reject any other sort of exploitation that benefits them, because it's easy to reject fur when a coat is worth $90,000.
Yeah.
Because I don't
No,
have
I
the money
understand.
to pay for that, but people have the money to pay for leather jackets and still do. And they might be even there wearing leather shoes or leather belts and protesting fur. So
Sure.
what's the message? The message is that it is wrong because it's cruel to furry animals. So
The real question
that's
is, how do you
that's the
make
message
people
there,
compassionate? How do
yeah.
you enforce people to be compassionate? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like in China, for example, I went to China one time. A lot of the places in China where a lot of the places in China where you get food, like if you go to a beef store, they'll have like a happy, smiling, cute cow picture. So over there, they're very detached from the food. Whereas I think it's kind of like that over here too. A lot of people would be vegan if they actually had to go out and kill the animal themselves. It's just that they're used to buying frozen chicken nuggets from the store. So a little kid, an innocent child is just like, oh, I'm just eating chicken nuggets. They don't actually see the brutality or the cruelty of what's happening to the animals. If there was almost like a way to demonstrate that to a large number of people, I think it would change a lot of people's minds. But it's like, how do you do that?
Well, AV does it. There are groups that go out and show people videos in public. It's very popular, and they get a lot of good reactions from people because a lot of people don't see it, especially kids, younger adults. They're like, "Whoa, I didn't know that," and it's like, yeah, they've never seen it before. I've seen it my whole life because I got into veganism when I was pretty young, and so I saw those videos in the 90s. And it was
There
rough.
was
We
this one
played.
study that said that once people watched that type of footage for 17 minutes was the number that it cited.
Oh, wow,
That they're
really?
Way more likely to go vegan if they watch that long. Yeah.
Interesting, because that is kind of a long time.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. That's not the point. That's the reason why people like Cosmic Skeptic and all those utilitarians who stopped being vegan, because they never were vegan, they never rejected animal use. They rejected animal cruelty. They were
What does that have to do with
welfareists
watching slaughterhouse footage?
because they rejected cruelty. They don't reject, for example, this guy lifting welfareist logic, who calls himself lifting vegan logic. He says that what is the problem of using feathers if the feathers are on the ground? That is a non-vegan statement, because the vegans reject the use of any animal material, and it's written from the beginning. It's
No,
the
I understand,
rejection
but
of
like if
animal
people have to
use.
see slaughterhouse footage in order to go vegan, like isn't people going vegan what you want? So then when they go vegan and then they reject other forms of animal exploitation,
The
when
problem is the message. If you say, well, are you against animal abuse? Like 99% of people will say, yes, I am against animal abuse. So what? Are you against animal use? Oh, no, no, no. That's dogmatic, you know? And that's the whole message of veganism. It's no, animals are not products. They are not beings to be made into products. They are not beings to be enslaved by humans. Or even if they have if they have them as pets, pets, because that's another term which hides all the exploitation becomes cute all of a sudden. But some people buy animals because they want to have them, and they think they are cute, and they want to find a cute animal at home every time they come home after work. So the point of veganism is not to reject cruelty. Now you can show the footage, but if the message is a welfarist message, people are going to be welfarists for years, and then they say, well, you know, I realized that I could go hunting and kill less animals, or kill fewer animals than when I was a vegan, just like John Venus. Because maybe Natalie Fulton was not around when John Venus was the poster boy for the
Yeah, I remember.
supposed vegan movement. I have no idea if you were around, but I saw that happen very clearly. Like, John Venus was a gym bro, and he was the poster boy for veganism supposedly, and he was never a vegan, and he got caught with eggs in his fridge in an interview, and he couldn't pretend anymore that he was not a vegan. So uh, all this bad activism
Time.
is hurting animals, is hindering the advancement of the vegan position, the vegan stance.
Yeah, it happened to a lot of influencers, not just him. It was a bunch, but
Yeah,
And
actually,
now people
we
want to
gotta
make
hop
it
off.
real.
I said I could stay for about an hour, so it's about time for me to head out. But thanks
Okay.
so much
Thanks for
having
coming
me.
by.
Good chatting with you. Yeah, good to see you. Bye.
And now people want to make a
Advocates
career out of veganism. They want to become influencers and make
Yeah.
money, and live of promoting welfareism in the streets.
It's creating a society based upon voluntary exchanges as a means of counter-economics, thus slowly engaging in a form of peaceful revolution. Although a great idea, the ideology that agorists believe in is nothing new. The word agorism stems from the classical Greek word agora, which translates directly to gathering place or assembly, and even marketplace. In the agora, which was the central spot within Greek city-states, free trade of all types took place, as did too athletic, artistic, spiritual, and political walks of life. In the agora, citizens from all classes would gather to trade, barter, and share information. There were no restrictions to what you could or couldn't trade. The trade depended upon the sole discretion of the parties involved. There were no third-party taxes or banks needed to make the transaction possible. The ideology of agorism was partially revived by Samuel Edward Konkin III in 1975 with contributions partly by J. Neil Schulman. Samuel Konkin, a libertarian philosopher, suggested that the agorist ideology could be implemented today by stressing the importance of alternative strategies as opposed to political reform or voting for political candidates in order to achieve a free society. For example, Konkin believed that a free society could be achieved quicker if alternative strategies were employed, such as education, direct action, alternative currencies, entrepreneurship, self-sufficiency, and most importantly, counter-economics. Counter-economics is defined by Konkin as the study and/or practice of all peaceful human action which is currently forbidden by the state. In short, a great example of this would be the failed war on drugs, which only goes to punish individuals who already have the universal right over their own body. The term is short for counter-establishment economics as well as counter-politics, or in other words, transferring power from the state back to the people in every aspect of life. Agorists believe their message to be scientific because science is an appeal to reason, which is only possible within an agora or a free market. It is believed that if properly and thoroughly applied, agorism could work today. All it would take is for an initial movement to ignite. In many ways, the initial movement is already underway, with some examples as alternative currencies, such as the founding of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, the push for legalization, and the rise in self-sufficiency, with families and individuals taking their food and their energy needs into their own hands and learning to become self-sustained. There are many different ways that the individual citizen can engage in agorism themselves, and it is actually quite easy. Here are a few ways to get started. Independent learning and homeschooling are two of the most direct ways that the individual and the family can engage in the agorist movement. Simply by learning a trade, craft, or skill, you are already taking a step in the direction of independence from the current system. Alternative currencies such as cryptocurrencies and even the barter system should be adopted not just as a means of survival, but to also hone in on the skill of bartering in general. Rendering cash useless a few days of the week and learning to trade your services for what you may need is a great way to get started amongst your friends, family, and neighborhood. You don't have to go out and start your own business, but think about what you and your loved ones can offer the world. Whether it is physical healing like teaching yoga or providing massages, or even a skill more tangible such as being able to provide clothing or food from scratch. The point of entrepreneurship is for all of us to once again become industrious. Gardening from home, raising small animal livestock, and becoming well-versed in first aid are three great ways to obtain a more self-sufficient household. Furthermore, learning how to can and jar, store seeds, build and repair, and even hold neighborhood meet and greets will rid you, your family, and your neighborhood off of a system that is doomed to collapse. Counter-economics or counter-politics refers back to achieving a free society by means of voluntarism. The goal of this is, with time, the state's perceived moral authority and power will have been re-evaluated and undermined, thus ultimately recognizing taxation as a form of theft and war as a form of mass murder. In the end, government would be suppressed into a criminal activity, as it is the state that chooses when violence and theft are allowed. Engaging in counter-economics is relatively easy and just takes civil disobedience or direct action to begin. The first step can be not recognizing laws that are unconstitutional, as well as not obeying unjust laws such as consuming raw milk, collecting rainwater, or remaining confined to a First Amendment zone. Counter-economics allows for immediate self-liberation from statist control of all acts of forbidden association, including sexual, racial, and cross-religious association, and anything else the state at any time or place chooses to prohibit, control, regulate, tax, or tariff.
So you don't buy it, David?
Mm,
Am I speaking
I,
with Mr.
I think
Chris?
we need a different society to achieve that, because right now people are thinking of how to make enough money to buy a yacht and live in the Mediterranean Sea or something like that. So
Yeah. Definitely. Materialism is definitely a big problem. People's materialism, it's basically they're just giving away their freedom, and they don't know why they're unhappy, even though they have all this stuff around them. And it's because they're not actually living life. I tried to get Jack.
People could be vegan. Those
What's that?
people could be vegan. My point is that those people could be vegan before we achieve a society that rejects the accumulation of capital. But so we should focus on sending the vegan message, not campaigns against cruelty. So that's my point. Yeah. If for example, this Formula One guy, this Hamilton Lewis, if he was really vegan, he wouldn't be riding on camels, But if he was really vegan, because apparently he's plant-based, it would be great for the movement right now to make people believe that they can respect animals and not see them as resources, without living in a hut in the woods. So right now that's what animals need, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I was trying to get Jack Gescheit up here from Watching Humans. These guys are the local activists in the Point Reyes area. He might come on next show, but I believe the subsidies that were going towards the farming in Point Reyes were finally cut. But we're going to watch this video. It's a pretty funny video. The media's opinion and the media's perspective of what's going on out here.
At the Golden Gate Bridge, you'll find some of the most picturesque views that California has to offer along the Point Reyes National Seashore in western Marin County.
This is paradise.
Carlos Barata, a 30-year veteran California park ranger, has picked up photography in his retirement.
When I go out to do photography in Point Reyes National Seashore, I call it going to church.
Why is that?
Because that's where I feel like my heart and my spirit feel comfortable, full.
Past the breathtaking landscapes that draw in millions of visitors each year, you'll find cattle dotted along.
Notice the angle they shot the cattle from. It's probably like the nicest part of the property.
Obviously,
along the
because it
coastline.
makes a revenue.
They destroy any property you put a cow on. It'll destroy it pretty quickly.
Yes, this area is a national seashore protected by the National Park Service, but since it gained that federal designation in 1962, there's been a unique agreement to allow ranching here, a way of life that predates the park's formation. Now, that's coming to an end for the most part, thanks to a secret deal that's anchoring some ranchers who've been there for generations.
We've built up this farming community and food community.
Oh,
and now
poor
we're
guy.
losing everything because of this deal that behind closed doors that was happening in Point Reyes National Seashore.
Albert Strauss runs the Strauss Dairy Farm in Marin County. His operation purchases milk from at least one of the dairy farms in Point Reyes, slated to close.
we've created our organic farming and food system that is a model for the world.
Oh,
Today,
really?
you'll see their products on store shelves under the popular
A model
Strauss
for the
Family
world.
Creamery.
The one of the most irresponsible industries, irresponsible farming practices of the USA that's destroyed our fields and our land. It's the model we set up that whole world is doing. Give me a fucking break. These guys are so full of shit.
Label. Soon, the company's output could be reduced because of the farm closures.
We're angry as a community. We feel disrespected as farms community, and people are being evicted from their homes and their livelihoods.
Environmentalists are welcoming the dramatic reduction in ranching on the way to point raise.
I've seen the dairies, Strauss dairies. They're certainly a lot better, but they're not good enough to create the pristine environment that's needed for perennials to come back.
Joe Mueller is a biology instructor at College of Marin. He says thousands of cows scattered throughout the seashore has led to overgrazing, and that's causing the removal of native plants and the overpopulation of destructive weeds.
What it does is it takes over in such a way that it doesn't provide for the soil like the perennials do. The perennials are able to kind of protect the soil.
After years of back and forth between environmental groups and ranchers who have leases with the National Park Service, in January, 6 dairy farms and 6 beef farms entered into a voluntary settlement agreement to end farming and close their ranches. 2 remaining beef operations in the National Seashore will receive long-term leases from the NPS. The deal was brokered by the environmental nonprofit, the Nature Conservancy. The agreement, which has not been made public, settles a 2022 lawsuit that raised serious environmental concerns about the farming practices on the protected land and challenged 20-year leases given to the farmers by the National Park Service. The ranchers who operate the farms will receive an undisclosed sum of money, estimated by our sources to be somewhere between a couple and several $1 million, to walk away from this multi-generational family business.
Our dollars,
Caught in the
tax
balance
dollars,
are the farm workers that have
paying these
performed the
farmers
back-breaking labor
to not
of herding,
destroy land
feeding,
anymore.
and milking thousands of cows for generations. They will soon be out of a job, and they or their families will be out of a place to live.
Good.
Es difícil porque realmente pues no tienes.
Rosa Rodriguez has lived in this home on historic Ranch A in Point Reyes with her husband Miguel and their 3 boys aged 11, 18, and 20 for the last 7 years.
Wouldn't the utilitarians or the intersectionals look at this and be like, oh, we shouldn't do anything about this because this family's living off of that? Right, David?
Yeah, intersectionals would say, well, what about the people? But I just don't think that subsidies go far enough in a vegan society. In a predominant vegan society. So, yeah, you can try to tackle the subsidies. But right now we are not even 1% of the population. So I don't think, like, some people who say they're vegan, they are plant-based, and they don't care about ending animal use at all. So they care about maybe suffering and sharing recipes online because that's the most popular channels on YouTube or social media. Are the ones with recipes. You can have millions of followers and make a revenue.
Yeah, that seems like almost every vegan group on Facebook is just recipes. Like, there's no real activist groups on Facebook. It's just recipe groups. It's the weirdest thing. And if I post any activism, they get mad at me. They delete it and block me and kick me out if I do any activism in their diet, their recipe group.
Yeah, or utilitarian vegetarianism.
Yeah,
which is like let's do the calculations to see how many animals will suffer less, and if we do this, and if some girl in underwear goes to the main square of a city and has a sign that says something welfarist, like meat is murder, something vegetarian and welfarist. So I don't think that the solution is going to be there at this point. At this point, we need to convince more people that veganism is the moral baseline. But nobody is promoting veganism, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And it has been that way for decades. I would say from the 60s on, it has been like that.
I agree.
After Leslie Cross and Donald Watson left the Vegan Society, there was just recipes in that vegan news magazine, and
it became
before they used to have recipes. They used to have recipes and the philosophy stuff, the ethics stuff, because they say, well, they used to say, well, people can't figure out how to live in a post World War II world without animal products. So maybe the recipes were a good idea back then, but right now we have like shelves, like entire shelves in a country like yours, entire shelves with plant-based products, so people can figure out what to eat. And here in Colombia we have beans and lentils and all sorts of legumes and fruits all year round, and we have a bunch of vegetables to survive. So the point is not about food. The point is about rejecting the instrumentalization of animals, and nobody's doing the work to end that. Even they reinforce it with lab-grown flesh. So so animals are food.
So the lab-grown flesh.
The problem is cruelty.
Yeah,
that is the message.
You're against lab-grown flesh because they actually take cells off of animals, correct? To make that flesh. No?
But more than that is the message that animals are products.
Meat is product.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
It is the opposite message of veganism. Veganism is trying to get people to reject the idea that animals are products.
Got it.
And lab-grown flesh is saying the opposite.
It's a weird position it's a weird mountain to die on, being a vegan, arguing for lab-grown flesh when there are so many other options. It's just completely not necessary, in my opinion. And it's sketchy.
Do you know non-vegans who are looking forward to the day where they say, well, just eat this lab-grown flesh?
I wouldn't eat it.
Well, yeah, but you're not a carnivore.
I wouldn't eat it either.
I think that's
what
and they wouldn't. They wouldn't eat it. So they wouldn't eat it either. So
I would eat if I was a carnist. I would eat a Impossible Burger before I'd eat lab-grown meat. Like
but the Impossible Burger is not vegan either.
Yeah,
it was tested on 187 rats.
Yeah, it's
that they had
Burger.
to kill.
Yeah.
No, that's the Impossible Burger. Beyond Burger, what they did with Beyond Burger was to give samples of animal hamburgers to the testers, to the people testing the product, to the people consuming the product, to see how similar they were. But that's a different position. It's like I don't know. There's vegan wine, and you can maybe put some people to test wines. If you're not vegan, you're not. Those companies are not vegan.
Yeah.
But if we are going to support animal testing, just because they release a plant-based product, then where is veganism? What is the vegan stance?
It's getting diluted.
But you can buy a vegan wine that maybe was tested, that maybe was consumed. The taste test, the taste test maybe was with non-vegan wines also. So the point is, vegans shouldn't support animal testing companies like the Impossible Foods.
It's novelty food. It's food industry novelty food for vegans. It's not something that like vegans got together to make. It was something that people who want to sell food got together to make. And we get vegan food, vegan novelty food thrown in our face all the time by the carnists. They don't understand that that's not. It's most likely not. It's like a novelty crossover food for like people that just go vegan. To try something when they don't know how to cook for themselves. Like it's not something that, is something every vegan eats every day. Like they would think. You think as a carnist, you're like, oh, these vegans probably eat Impossible meat every single day, And but yeah, I get what you're saying. You're very hardline, and you're watching all these people that are living their life by the new definition of veganism, and being like, what the fuck? Because that's not veganism. That's vegetarianism. That's plant-based, half-assed, not vegan.
Yeah,
right?
you know what they used to say to kind of justify the death of those 187 rats. They said, well, but maybe, this utilitarian thinking is such a fucking piece of shit thinking. Maybe it was worth it because millions of cows will be saved now.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2020. And it's 2025, and none of those millions of cows are going to be saved ever by the fucking Impossible Foods. So that's the problem with the utilitarian thinking. They make calculations based on an uncertain future, and they proceed.
Or their political opinions of the future, whatever false paradigm they live in and they think is going to happen in the future. They base all their shit off that when it's not reality.
Yeah, and they proceed to exploit animals just because maybe the net utility in the future result will be greater than the damage and the harm and the exploitation happening to achieve that result. So all these people promoting lab-grown flesh, they swear that non-vegans are going to welcome that lab-grown blob, that lab-grown piece of flesh, as if it was a great product or something. The same people that are worried that maybe eating too much legumes is bad for your health are supposedly going to welcome some lab-grown product that they have. They ask for plant-based studies, generational plant-based studies. They ask you for that. So those people are not going to welcome any lab-grown flesh. So the utilitarian calculations that millions of animals will be saved by that are bullshit. No, non-vegans are not asking for it. They think that because maybe they want to taste flesh again, that's the solution. No, that's not the solution.
Interesting. So what's this? So you heard what Gary said about he doesn't really think we should kill all the carnivorous animals, right?
Yeah.
So do you don't think he believes that, or you don't think he should be saying things like that?
Everybody is virtue signaling about that bullshit. They have been doing that for about a decade. Gary Yourofsky said that like 12 years ago, and I went like, that this is not veganism anymore. This is I didn't know what utilitarianism meant back then, because I could have pointed out, oh, that's utilitarianism. That's the belief that we have to deal with suffering, no matter the consequences, no matter the way, the means to achieve the result. But all these people, if they really wanted to do that, they would be on social media saying, well, I went to the woods and I shot a fox because the fox was going to eat a squirrel.
Yeah.
And I did it, and that was my virtue act for the day.
Yeah.
Because I saved the squirrel. None of those people are saying that. That's bullshit. They want to virtue signal that they care too much about the zebras, that they don't help anyways. But what they are doing is making non-vegans believe that veganism is a movement full of idiots, which it is really, if you believe that the utilitarian movement is a vegan movement.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, coming from, like a human liberation, movement based on morality, it's very easy to see that the utilitarian movement leaves a bunch of holes open for immorality. And it's something that's only like this last couple of years we just started looking into it, or hearing these words and hearing everyone argue about it. And, taking the first time I heard vegan gains talk about like fencing off all the carnivorous animals, I was like, holy shit, what's this guy talking about? What's up, Jules?
What up, Jeff? What's
How's
going
it
on,
going,
legend? It's good
Hey,
to
what's
see
up?
you, bro.
But I'm gonna finish the rest of this video real quick. Oh wow, it's long.
Years, Miguel works on the farm.
Podría ser entre 1,300.
Rosa tells us that her husband is paid around $1,400 every 2 weeks after taxes. She picks up cleaning jobs in the area and teaches photography on the side.
They're like,
Combined,
these poor
they
people
bring in
are going to
about
be affected
$65,000 a year, well below the average
animal
family income
holocaust
in Marin
stopping.
County of $143,000. That's why receiving free housing on this farm is a lifeline, given how expensive it is to live in Marin. But she showed us the less than ideal living conditions: holes in the floor that they boarded up, low water pressure, and walls covered in mold, which she's concerned has made her youngest sick with asthma. An attorney representing the rancher who owns the property disputes those claims, saying no significant repairs were requested by the Rodriguez family. A 2024 study revealed the majority of homes on the Point Reyes farms are dilapidated, with major health and safety violations. But as bad as the living conditions are, she has no clue where her and her family will live when they're forced to move out when the farms close by April 1st of 2026, according to documents obtained by ABC 7 News.
How has it changed since?
Come up
Along
and
with
explain that,
photography
Lily.
and his retirement, Carlos also
I'll get
serves
it.
as president of the board of directors for the organization West Marin Community Services. His group will help disperse a reported $2.5 million set aside in a fund by the Nature Conservancy to help the farm workers, their families, and tenants who don't work on the farm but have been grandfathered into this agreement relocate. About 100 people in total.
Each family should look at all the information that is given to them and decide what's best for my family. Let's honor the workers. Those are that's the funny part of it. They are the backbone of that industry. Without those workers, nothing happens. Nothing.
Awesome.
ABC
Let's get
7
rid of
News
those
has
workers
obtained
then.
documents shared with families showing the sliding scale of compensation they'll
If we
receive
get rid of
as an
troops
incentive
too,
to
then we
move
won't
off
have
the
wars.
farm. $68,000 for a 1 to 2 person household, $81,000 for a family of 3 to 4, and $99,000 for a family the size of Rosa's with 5 to 6 people, with the cap being $109,000 for larger families.
We have a housing crisis, as you know well now, and this is just making it worse. Taking housing that's there and eliminating it.
Oh no!
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Stopping killing cows is making housing
is a well-known Bay Area
harder.
attorney who's now representing 45 tenants on the Point Reyes Farms who are not happy with this deal. Giacomini also comes from
shut
a
down
family
all
of
the
ranchers
fucking
who live
jails
and work
because,
right here
people
on
be
these
out of
West
work.
Marin farms.
So we gotta
I'm
keep
just trying
those
to level the
jails
playing
full.
field against this situation.
Keep a lot of laws
where
around. So
there's
we
this
keep the
money to
jails
drag
full.
people out of their houses, and then there's this push on the other side, and people feel like they don't have a choice.
This is dairy
And now
stuff, isn't it,
Giacomini
Jeff?
tells me
Yeah.
he's trying to give these tenants that choice
pause
by
it real quick.
working
I
with a
just wanted to
private
say something
donor
about
to create
what
a
Australia
separate
is
fund
just
to
done.
match the money families are receiving from the
We're just
Nature
full
Conservancy.
crazy.
Adrian.
In other words,
Sorry,
Roosevelt could have
start
gotten
over again. Let me
$99,000
stop
from this
this.
private donor instead of the Nature Conservancy.
Go ahead, Jules. I just messed up. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Jules.
Fucking what's it called? We've just started pumping out low methane beef, so like 99% methane free beef. All this stuff. They're feeding the cows a supplement. It's linked to this company CH4 Global. I think they're working with Bovea as well.
That's fucking gross.
Yeah, dude, we don't
So
know
gross.
the long-term
Oh
effects
my
this
God.
has on our gut biome or anything, bro. You know what I mean? It's full
So
like,
gross. I wouldn't want to
experimenting.
eat that.
Yeah. But
It's
I
not
don't
a
know.
solution, you know. Like they're
No,
just
I don't
like
think so
trying
either.
to, yeah.
But it's like when I tried the vegetarian thing, even you told me, bro, you like stay away from the processed stuff, you know, it's all
Yeah.
ultra processed. And yeah, I was like looking for like fucking what was it called? Like fucking plant-based meat and all that stuff. It was just that was
kinda
no
gross.
good. It was no good. Yeah.
It's funny.
'Cause it
It's
had-
like all, you
animals.
know, random. We'll eat it, and it's like, okay.
He
that was
says
kinda-
it's kind of gross, but you eat soy chicken patties all the time.
Okay,
it's
that's true.
something that's like, it's obviously not ideal, but like, you know, whether you eat dairy and whatever, there's days where you're like, I'm just gonna eat some fucking junk food, mate. You know what I mean? And there's just vegan options to do that with. It's still junk food though. Like,
Yeah,
I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, look at Sour Patch Kids. They're plant-based. You can still eat them.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
And the marshmallow weed, that's full of pectin as well, so you can make your gummies that way and the original marshmallows and whatnot without any animal products.
Yeah. Speaking of that, someone. Oh, this video is still going. Someone. Let's get to watch this. Oh, where'd it go?
What is it? What was it?
There was a video about the guy who sold out veganism. Yeah, there it is. Seaspiracy guy. Seaspiracy guy.
Hey, it's Mike here, and today it appears
Hilarious.
that Seaspiracy director, a vegan documentary director, Ali Tabrizi, is no longer vegan. And, you know, it's one thing for him to just not be vegan, but he's definitely going out there and trying to sort of persuade people and make arguments against veganism. I mean, his YouTube video is titled, "Why I'm Leaving 100% Veganism After 13 Years, and You Might Too After This." And on his blog, he actually refers to all of this as the vegan lie.
I actually think as someone who lived and breathed veganism and promoted it to many, many people, I think I've been responsible for actually spreading a kind of dangerous lie.
So Mr. Tabrizi is no longer VZ, and we can expect an upcoming documentary called Veganspiracy, probably. And yes, Seaspiracy was made in conjunction with those other documentaries like Cowspiracy and What the Health, and then the more recent Christspiracy. And Seaspiracy, really well-made documentary, and I've interacted with Ali in the past and been like, yeah, he's a really nice dude. So what changed here? Let's just go. Really quick, you might be able to tell I'm still filming on my phone and with a little lav mic. And because of that, I can't see that my hair is about to fall in a weird chunk for the next 5 minutes. I'm sorry for the OCD people. So you might have noticed I have not made a lot of ex-vegan videos lately, and part of that is just because we kind of past that wave of ex-vegans, that ex-vegan era there. But in this case, this is an interesting one. It's a person I'm familiar with, somebody who's been vegan for a while. They were in the vegan activism scene. It's like, what the heck are they doing here? What's going on? And Ali really did want to establish that, yes, he was a real vegan, even going as far as to say this.
I wore vegan activist t-shirts, vegan activist hoodies, went to protests, went to rallies, filmed the slaughter of animals extensively. In case people don't think I was fully vegan, believe me, you're wrong. I was probably more vegan than you've ever been. I don't want to be more arrogant.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Guy.
I'm just kidding. I'm not into vegan contests. But he's clearly just trying to lay the groundwork for the inevitable, like, you were only plant-based comment. But I just want to say, like, previous enthusiasm doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to be, you know, perfectly on point about everything in the future and never going to change. Like, yeah, he was vegan. Okay. But then he makes a kind of dramatic statement here.
I think I've been responsible for actually spreading a kind of dangerous lie that I want to rectify in this video and set the record straight for any people I've influenced.
Like, I would have thought, oh my God, there's some really dangerous health concern that he has, but he doesn't even focus on that very much. And so, yeah, he's just trying to like hook people in, I think.
And also, it wasn't because of any health issues. I think I've lost count of hundreds of videos of YouTubers and influencers that have made videos why I'm no longer vegan. Celebrities that moved in and out of veganism, claiming they had brain fog or couldn't get enough protein or XYZ, only to find that really they were living off of, you know, smoothies and not really getting nutrition they needed, or weren't eating enough protein, or weren't taking B12 supplements and all that kind of stuff. That's not why I've changed my mind.
So yeah, he doesn't actually point to health issues as a reason for quitting, which really is right in line from this Analytics report on ex-vegans, with 70% experiencing no health management issues. 30% say they did, despite the narrative being like, oh my God, everybody automatically fails for their health. Like, I was just at a Cube of Truth recently, and this random dude comes up and shouts that like everybody who's vegan will just deteriorate within like 7 to 10 years. So it's like a really common angle people take. But in this case, he's mainly focusing on ethical grounds. Here he is.
Veganism doesn't actually hold the monopoly to causing the least harm through dietary choices. And that actually, there are many examples of a vegan choice that causes more harm to animals than if you directly consume the non-vegan counterpart to that product.
So that's a pretty big claim, saying the vegan alternative is going to cause more harm to animals than the actual animal-based one. And so you got to bring some tall receipts for that. You know, and you can be the judge of his argument, but you got to bring in some facts, some figures. And when he does bring in a chart, but yeah, it has nothing to do with actual numbers on animal deaths. Here he is.
In instances on the fringes of the bell curve of what we eat, if you imagine the bell curve like this, at the center you've got the staples that we all eat, that's very cheap and reliable and sustainable and accessible in most places. Bread, rice, pasta, beans, vegetables, fruit, peanut butter, oils, those kinds of things. On the fringes, you get specialty items that are replacement products that tend to be less accessible, more expensive, and it's those things which I'm about to expose as being potentially more damaging to animals and the environment and so on. And in which case, you're probably best off just using a regular animal-based counterpart to it.
He mentions the expense, and yeah, for any diet, there's going to be a spectrum of more and less expensive food items, whatever. We'll talk more about cost in a little bit. But claiming that it's going to cause more harm to animals, he then launches into a marshmallow anecdote.
We wanted to bring marshmallows along, of course, for this beautiful family, memorable moment to roast on the fire. But as a vegan, of course, you have to think about this kind of stuff. So in order to get vegan marshmallows, me and my family had to drive half an hour into the city to a place we never go, to go to a specialty vegan store to buy vegan marshmallows.
Got it.
And then we obviously had to drive half an hour back. We had to go over a toll bridge this time. And the vegan marshmallows that we got were a very small bag that cost about $16, for about less than 300 grams.
Fuck, they look good, don't they?
And
one time a year he gets marshmallows. He's got to pay a little bit more for them. Therefore,
so he admits that when he was in the UK, where he's from, vegan marshmallows were more accessible. But he's in Australia now, where marshmallows perhaps not as much a part of the culture. They don't have s'mores there, but yeah, they still eat them. They still might roast them over the fire. But it is to the point where just really a quick search about how widespread this is led me to this blog post about a woman who isn't even vegan talking about how hard of a time she had just finding marshmallows at grocery stores. Well, we searched the baking aisles at grocery store after grocery store to try to procure marshmallows, but we never found them. I realize this is a little bit on the older side for a blog, but here's a woman recently expressing a similar sentiment on TikTok.
I don't know why, but white marshmallows on their own are a little bit tricky to find in Australia. They always come in a pack with pink marshmallows as well.
So if you're trying to find a specialty version of a specialty product, yeah, that's going to be kind of hard. And this does remind me of visiting family in Australia who are partly American, and they wanted to celebrate Halloween. And so they're like, let's go grab a pumpkin. We went to a store and got a pumpkin, and it was like $20. And I was like, dang, that's because it's not part of their culture. You're trying to apply your culture to an area that it doesn't exist in as much. But there's going to be extra costs. There's going to be inconveniences to that. So what do you think about his argument so far? You think he's got some strong arguments? Speaking of strength, ridiculous segue. Maybe you're interested in strengthening your cells, which brings us to our quick break with today's sponsor, Fatty 15, a cellular health supplement, which actually has science behind it, which is, of course, why I'm working with them. This is C15, and while that is a saturated fatty acid. All right. But to summarize his issue, he's saying, oh, we had to drive an hour or so round trip. We had to pay for these tolls, and then they had to pay $16 for marshmallows, which these might be among some of the most expensive vegan marshmallows in the world. Just side note, Trader Joe's in the US, their marshmallows are vegan, and they're $2.99, which is comparable to the closer non-vegan ones he mentions. But yeah, again, that's a side note, not directly related to his story.
I started to think, well, surely, if I would have just hypothetically bought the animal gelatin marshmallows at the local supermarket for $2.50 without spending all the fuel and toll bridge fees, and all the money I spent, not even if I gave all of it to an animal sanctuary, even if I just gave a couple of dollars that I saved to an animal sanctuary, surely that's going to do more tangible, measurable good.
Mental
So you're saying that you can
gymnastics.
save more animals by taking the money that you saved not eating vegan and donating it to an animal sanctuary, which, again, we don't have numbers on this. How much would an animal sanctuary donation actually do? We're not sure. But, for an extreme version of this logic, I think I need to go to my friend Cletus. Yeah, if I beat my wife, but not that hard, and then I donate money to a battered women's foundation, the net effect is positive for domestic violence against women. And he goes into how gelatin is really sort of just like a trace ingredient in marshmallows. It's like 3 grams. It's like 1%. But then like all the damage done by importing vegan marshmallows makes them way worse.
Huge amounts of wasted money, resources, fuel, time, energy, air freight to transport sugary fluff from the other side of the world.
Oh God, yeah. So pretty ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, you're muted, David. So Mike the vegan hangs out in that utilitarian realm of, okay, well, if veganism isn't healthier than veganism, it opens it up for it being like, oh, veganism is bad because it's not healthy. And that's kind of the basis of Mike the Vegan's kind of his whole channel is all health based. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, and in a lot of his videos, he goes into the utilitarian calculations of how many animals die because that person has a farm or whatever calculation.
Jules, do you know what utilitarianism is?
Nope.
Do you, Adrian?
No.
Okay. You guys got to ask questions.
Oh,
So utilitarianism is the idea that, like, if it's good for the majority of the group, then that's what's right, and not just what is morally right or wrong. It's
democratic.
I'm sure David could explain it a lot better than me.
Yeah, that's only one part of it, because you can do utilitarian calculations. The utility, in the end, is what matters. But the utility is going to be an uncertain future. So you may think that maybe, for example, Jeffrey Dahmer could have been a great reducer of suffering, because we don't know how much suffering would have caused, all those people who were killed. They might have caused more suffering. So Jeffrey Dahmer, maybe what he did was a good thing in the end, because the result was less suffering,
less animals getting killed.
What did Jeffrey Dahmer do? Didn't he like murder a whole bunch of people?
He ate them too.
He fucking ate them? What the fuck? Holy shit!
For example,
Damn, that's messed up.
But
bro.
the utilitarian argument would support Jeffrey Dahmer, because he took people out of their suffering and and stopped animals from being killed.
So what? Did he eat
So it would have been like,
farmers?
oh, we shouldn't, having serial killers is around is fine, because life is miserable and we're taking people out of their misery.
Oh, right. No, that makes
almost
sense.
nihilist.
That actually makes sense. Yeah, I get you. Fuck.
Or
And
those
the
people that were killed could have been causing harm in their lives. So it's
Yeah,
like
but that's
kind of
like
weird
insanity.
argument.
That's like justifying killing the homeless because they're homeless and they're cold. And
Yeah, it's real wishy-washy when you take things out far.
Utilitarians would say, well, if nobody cares, then what's wrong? And we can do it painlessly. So they just care about utility, and utility is a measure, a unity measure of suffering. So, and
so
it's not.
what's the goal, to eliminate suffering altogether? Or?
That would be the ultimate goal. But some of them, they say, well, we are realistic. We just aim to reduce. And that's why welfarism is so popular among them.
Right.
Because they aim to reduce suffering. And they don't really think that much ahead. Because welfarism in my calculations, welfareism is going to even raise suffering, even create more suffering, because more animals are going to be exploited for more years to come, because welfareism is the norm, not veganism. If veganism is not the norm, more animals will be exploited for years or decades or maybe centuries to come. So until veganism is not the norm, welfareism, what it's going to do is to create more victims, and millions, trillions, maybe trillions of victims. Because every year is like trillions of victims if we count sea animals. So if we perpetuate animal exploitation with welfareism, the utilitarian calculation is not even going their way. But veganism is not about utilitarian calculations. Veganism is about changing the mindset that other animals are here for us. So it's a very different approach to the animal cause.
And it's all connected to the human cause too. Like it's all connected to human liberation and us being slaves. You know, we're enslaving trillions of animals without even thinking about it. You know, how do these people not see that as an analogy? You know, as being like something, a metaphor for what we're going through. It's the what's it called? As above, so below. Laws of correspondence. Like what you do in the world is gonna be amplified. It's gonna happen to you, and what you should put out into the world is what you want to happen to you too. Also.
And just so you understand how absurd utilitarianism can be, the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer ate his victims makes him even more
efficient.
More efficient in terms of
because he didn't waste
recycling. He's recycling, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What did he do with their bones?
Maybe a vegan can cause more suffering by eating lentils or something.
I think you made
maybe the crop.
What's that, Adrian?
I think he made altars with the bones. I could be wrong, but
well, yeah, he made furniture out of the bones, so that's like even better because he's getting a utility out of having a chair now.
He's not letting any of the body go to waste.
Yeah.
It's moral.
It's animism, bro.
Do you know Ed Gein?
Yeah.
The serial killer. He used to make lamps with human skin and belts with human skin. And I think he made a purse with human skin also.
Yeah.
Useful.
That was where they got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They got that idea from Ed Gein. Yeah.
The lampshades and all that.
Lampshades and shit.
Yeah.
Weird.
And the song by Slayer called "Dead Skin Mask" is based on his.
So are you,
story.
David? Are you vegan, mate? Or
yeah,
he's hardcore vegan. Hardcore vegan.
When did that first happen for you? Like, is this like a new thing or?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't even remember. I think it was 2012, something like maybe before that. Yeah, no, before that. But
what was the catalyst?
The catalyst was an image of a chicken getting his beak cut off.
Yeah, they laser the beaks before they send them into the facility so they don't hurt each other. Yeah, I work in the industry for different chickens.
And eggs were the last product that I ate. So I said, well, fuck that. So I became
all the chickens are inoculated with vaccines as well. So that's another thing is we don't understand properly. At 60 days old, they harvested maximum 60 days.
mRNA and shit.
Yeah, mRNA. That's the standard protocol for all the products that are going into the animals. So even if you don't want to line up and get your safe and effective, bro, it's in the water, it's in the fucking food.
Fuck that.
Yeah. But I already got the two safe and effectives like almost 4 years ago now, bro. So I'm like just grateful I'm still fucking here. But yeah,
Don't say that.
I think it was. I
had the nerve studies, Jeff, and they like detect I got nerve damage in my left leg and shit, and don't know why. So they just put me on Lyricus and whatnot. So I guess I'm fucking asleep. So I'm on nerve blockers at the moment, smoking with my pot. It's working. I'm getting sleep. So, but yeah, I reckon it's all pinned to that, bro. That's the only thing that I've done different in the past like 5 years that could have fucked me up seriously was that shot. 100%. Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, a little bit, but still here. So that's all that matters, I guess.
Yeah, we were able to not get them.
Yeah, I had to for work. You know what I mean? Had the house on site and all that stuff. So it's like my house or my job, career, or fucking. Yeah.
We met during that time, so we just hung out the whole time and had fun.
No shit.
Didn't get vaccinated. Didn't get tested. Nothing the whole time.
That's good. Even the
I
even
think
the
a couple
tests,
times, pretty bad, but
tests.
like I don't know if it was COVID or not.
Yeah, with those rapid antigen tests, they contain ethylene oxide.
Fuck
bro.
that. Yeah, I was like, no thanks.
And
Nothing.
they sticking that past the blood-brain barrier in your fucking nose and shit. Like,
No
wow.
thanks.
So,
Adrian probably had to get that shit, huh? Were you in the military when that happened?
You know, I got out. You know, they wanted to stick me with a shot, and I pretty much said no. So
yeah,
I got out just in the nick of time.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. So
They got me, bruh. They got me. I'm actually a spy for the government. I died in 2021.
Yeah.
You got those nanobots under
You
your
got
skin.
Yeah, I know. The little nanotechnology. I'm on the smart grid now. They can read my thoughts and
they're controlling you. They've sent you to infiltrate my circle and break me down.
100%.
Honeypot. Jules made the honeypot.
Yep, that's me, bro.
Where are you from, David?
Colombia.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Cool. Yeah.
I have a question for the Colombian man. Is cocaine vegan? Yes.
Yeah, well, it's very bad for the environment, but it's vegan.
Yeah. So it's not ethical, but it is vegan. So that's all that matters.
Well, there's diesel fuel in it, which is dinosaurs.
Shit.
So
Fuck, I didn't think about that. You don't have to
No,
put diesel
that's,
in there, though. You can switch that out for a different non-polar solvent.
gross.
That's also a myth. That's also a myth. Fossil fuels are not dinosaurs. It's plankton.
It's constantly growing. There's no peak oil or anything like that.
And it's plankton. Those are not dinosaur bones.
No, the Rockefellers gave the
dinosaurs
name
aren't even real.
fossil fuels and all
Yeah,
that
they
to create scarcity in the market.
They invented the myth.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. In the 1800s, they invented it. Two psycho rich guys got in a paleontology fight where they were trying to outdo each other with finding the most exotic animals, and so they invented dinosaurs. And there was such a market around it, people went so nuts for it that they just kept it going, and it became a part of our society. It's crazy. Look up the dinosaur wars. I have a couple of videos on my YouTube about it, called the Dinosaur Wars, and it's pretty wild. Like the bullshit that we believe in our society is being real.
Yeah, I don't
It's a
believe
lot
in
of
no
bullshit.
dinosaurs, bro. I believe in dragons. That's documented. That's in if you look in old dictionaries and whatnot. The definition of dragon is like
A lot of alligators got misunderstood for dragons in the early times. People saw alligators. That's why the eastern dragons are nice and good luck. You know, like Japanese, it's like a good thing because their crocodiles or whatever are very nice there and passive. But then in the U.S., our dragons are really mean because our alligators will fucking kill people. And imagine like sailing across the world and coming across a giant alligator and just being like, that's a fucking fire-breathing
we have
dragon.
crocodiles here in Australia. Alligators, bro. They're fucking huge. Like they get up to 20 feet, bro. They're fucking massive. Yeah.
You ever wrestle a
You ever
croc?
wrestle a croc?
Me? No way. No.
You ever throw a shrimp on the bobby?
We call them prawns, bro.
What's his name? Is the Crocodile Dundee guy? Is he like still known? Like,
Yeah,
like,
everyone.
he
That's not a knot. Like you have an African now pull a fucking machete out on you and go, "This is a knife," but it's
you still
different.
know, like, it's still a party.
Yeah, we've got a problem in this country.
He was
at
a
the
funny
moment.
dude. He was a
fucking-
big star back in the day. But anyway, yeah, we have a very international show over here. We have people from all over the world. Usually, there's a Serbian here.
Hey, real quick, Jeff, did you see my little fucking online casino fiasco the past couple of weeks?
No,
bro?
what'd you do?
I won like 8K in the past 2 weeks.
Oh,
Just
shit.
fucking-
Good for you,
bro.
man.
Just from like a couple $100 investment. Then a couple of nights ago, I'm like, I'll put $60 back in it, pulled out another 2K. I'm like, fuck me.
Buy some crypto, bro.
Yeah. So
Got any crypto?
yeah, it's all in crypto. It's all in Ripple in XRP
Oh.
actually. So I'm using my crypto in the casinos because none of this can be on my banks. Online casinos are illegal in Australia. So yeah. Don't tell them shit. I got a new PC on the way. Get my car fixed. Got my mum's car serviced. Took my nan out to breakfast. Fucking
nice.
It's cool, bro. It's cool. But yeah. I was stoked. Almost had a fucking heart attack though. I was like, "Is shit real or not?" Fucking yeah, it's all real.
So in the movements I run in, this guy, Larkin Rose, is very well respected. I don't have any serious problem with him outside of him just being a dick and being very anti-vegan, very stupidly anti-vegan. But I found this video, and it came after last week's my anarchism versus government debate we did last week. I saw this video. I felt like going through it and actually defending Larkin Rose for the first time, because this clown show has everything wrong, and it's kind of interesting. He thinks it's a prime example of someone on the Dunning-Kruger effect. They're so confident, even so much that they edit their videos to back up how confident they are in their position while having an entirely fallacious and wrong position. Super fucking funny. This guy's name's Harmful Content. He's got 3,500 followers somehow. Very little snarky, little antagonistic little guy, which I get it. I do the same thing sometimes, but I'm usually not as wrong as this guy is here. Pro-government guy. So this is another, it's similar to, I wish I would have debated this guy instead of Mike Stanton, because Mike Stanton ended up Mike Canton? Yeah, Canton. He ended up kind of being a little crazy and incoherent. I actually wanted to have the conversation. But this guy, maybe we'll get this guy up on the show.
Well, pussies like you, we're back here partying, putting headbands on, doing drugs, listening to the goddamn Beatle albums.
One of the defining features of modern leftist thought is its growing detachment from reality. We're told that gender is entirely fluid, and that allowing biological men into women's spaces carries no risk whatsoever. We're assured that mass illegal immigration of millions of people over a few short years, places no significant burden on social services. That higher education and universal health care can be made free without severe economic consequences, and that importing tens of thousands of refugees from cultures hostile to Western values will integrate seamlessly. Now, of course, the list of disassociated beliefs goes on and on and on. However, all of these claims share a common thread: a willful denial of human nature, economics, and history.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize this
like
about
an appeal
anarchists.
to tradition,
But
appeal to
anarchists
history there.
are actually on the very far left
It's already
side of the
being
political
fallacious.
spectrum. So, of course, anarchist or anarchism has become the most extreme expression of this same mindset. This mindset that just willfully ignores reality. It takes the leftist disregard for reality to its logical extreme. It believes that society can function entirely without government, without a system of enforceable laws, and without any centralized authority.
No.
Yet somehow remain peaceful, cooperative, and totally stable. This is not merely naive.
So far he's making the assumption that decentralized forms of government can't exist, or decentralized forms of security. You got to leave the mindset of going, okay, instead of having a government offer all these services to me while charging me the most amount of money and giving me the least quality of service, that somehow this centralized government is the best way of doing it. A centralized government that is held accountable by nobody but themselves. That's the fatal flaw that none of these guys get, is that this government can do whatever it wants and is not regulated by the people, by the people's dollar, because they've devalued the dollar by printing it by the trillions so much that we're not able to vote with our dollar anymore. Our dollar has no value. So we have lost one of the only ways of controlling any type of government or any type of adjudication, regulations. A lot of people think that without a federal government, without a centralized federal government, that it would be the Wild West again, which is just boggles my mind, because in my opinion, if I was at work and overnight the federal government disappeared and I got to go to work tomorrow and not have those taxes taken out of my bill, my paycheck anymore, I'd be fucking thrilled. I wouldn't go run in the streets and kill people. I'd be happy. I'd get up early and go to work early. And I think most people would do the same thing. So this idea that we need a centralized, monolithic government like we have now in order to not have chaos is ridiculous. The free market, who is more regulated by the people's dollar, would, you'd have police forces competing, offering the best product for the lowest amount of money, instead of having a monopoly where the government allows whatever police force to do whatever they want while taxing the shit out of the people and enforcing policies, victimless crimes, not enforcing natural laws in the least bit, but man's law. So this guy's already walked into a big trap, assuming that there's no other way of doing things besides centralized government.
This is just not naivety.
Naivety.
It is historically and psychologically indefensible. Human beings are not naturally altruistic or perfectly rational. Left without rules or enforcement, societies do not even...
No, but the greater good of the people always prevails. Or else we wouldn't be here anymore.
Evolve into utopias. They do not just progress.
No, it's utopian to think a centralized government is going to keep everyone happy.
Naturally, with the natural world. Societies, without these structures, collapse into power struggles, violence, and eventually authoritarianism. And that's actually what's a little ironic, is that anarchists, they love to talk as if they're rallying against authoritarianism. But their philosophy, anarchism in itself, will directly lead to the most authoritarian states known to history.
Okay, let's break that down. So anarchism, where the free market regulates and controls the industries, where several companies can compete, like I said earlier, and thus bringing the price down and the quality up, people being able to put out of business a company that is doing something wrong just by switching what product they own. somehow this is more authoritarian than a bunch of psychopaths ending up in government, because only psychopaths want to govern that many people, want power over that many people. You have this, so these psychopaths know better and will do the right thing no matter what, simply because they're centralized and because they were voted upon, which has been co-opted. Voting, there's no way of proving voting works or is legitimate in the least bit. It's all a reality TV show, again, to distract us from the fact that we have no choice. But we do have a choice, and that's turning our back on government. That's agorism. That's denying material support to the evil system that is keeping the world enslaved, keeping the meat and dairy industry going. Just because the guys that run the government, the powers that be, they own the slaughterhouses too.
Hey Jeff, did you know that America has like an entire fucking mountain full of cheese, bro?
Yeah, and they're just hiding it. We've watched the video on this show.
Yeah, I think I might have seen it on your. Yeah, I might have seen it.
Subsidizing it. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
That's
so
madness,
like, I wonder if Natalie Fulton knows that stuff, about government. Like, I wish she would have stayed and especially watched the agorism video.
That was someone who was on earlier.
Yeah, we had a girl on earlier that still thinks that we're gonna vote animal government into animal rights, giving rights to animals, which I just think is ridiculous. These people that run the government own the slaughterhouses. They're not going to put themselves out of business.
Now, I wish she would have made an argument against something other than politics in America, because she's very US-centered.
Yeah.
And as if veganism was some sort of plant-based diet for the US. And it's I think she's very naive in whatever, and very irresponsible to use the name of veganism for things that are not veganism. She's misinforming a lot of people.
It's so funny, David. You remind me of me. Like I get so much shit in the natural law movement because of my stance on veganism, and they're all just like, you're fucking nuts, dude. Like, and it's like, and I feel like in this circle, I'm almost like, it's impressive to see how hardline you are. Not since being in, in the 90s and seeing my buddies like beat up people for smoking cigarettes. I see like or eating meat and stuff. Like, it's pretty funny. But it's all connected. All this stuff is connected, and these people that make these videos laughing about their own slavery and just allowing it to happen, and they're so happy that they're a slave, and then it's like, no wonder our society is screwed up when they just want daddy government to save them from everything, and to eat the status diet, drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, eat meat and dairy. That's what a man does, right? It's wild.
And they have already done this. This is not like something that's a hypothetical. We have historical backing for this. Anarchism is not just an idealistic mistake.
Because something happened in the past,
misunderstanding of human behavior
does not mean it is right or correct. We've been at war since the inception of this our government. Should we keep going just because of that? These appeals to tradition, these statists and these carnists always use these horrible arguments to justify what they're doing. And it's because they never made the choice. It was forced on us at birth. Carnism, statism, it's forced on us at birth. We didn't sign any contract. We didn't sign this contract. We didn't make the decision to start eating meat. It was forced on us. And so we don't have the greatest arguments backing up the things that are forced on us. We didn't think and make a decision. Hey, I'm going to decide to support the state. I'm going to decide to eat meat when I'm an infant. We don't have that opportunity. So we don't have the greatest arguments, and that's why all these carnists and statists sound
so it's imposed on us from like a young age, eh?
Yeah.
It's that tradition.
What do you mean by? Oh, sorry. What do you mean by carnists? I think that's such a.
Oh, he means
term.
me. He means me. I eat meat.
Yeah, but do you wear leather? Do you buy products that have been tested on animals for the shampoo?
Yeah, he does.
We don't import beef from America, so that's a good fucking start.
Get it from New Zealand.
Yeah, we do get it from New Zealand.
So that's not carnism. That is non-veganism. That is not carnism.
Hey Jeff, did you know that I don't know what veganism is?
I don't know.
He come out.
David's very particular about the definitions of words, and I think I like that.
But what's the point? What's the point? What type of rape is acceptable? Are you against slavery and rape, or is it only when animals are the victims? I don't understand the ethos.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why we're here. That's what we're talking about. That's why I'm trying to get everyone to talk. But
do we want movements like justice movements to disappear just because veganism is supposed to be some sort of panacea for every human versus
Shouldn't that
human
mean
issue?
like ethically we should kill all cats then? Because the male cat
I don't think
and the barbs and that they hook into a female, so the female can't actually escape.
That's very, very much a part of the conversation we're having.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out.
A guy interviewed a couple weeks ago. He said that everyone should shoot all the lions in the head, and everyone kind of got bent out of shape about it. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. So it's definitely where we're at that stage
our ethics,
where we are
I guess,
questioning these things.
It's okay to define veganism when you're teaching somebody what veganism is. All I'm saying is that you can't be vegan for ethical purposes, but also believe in government. Because it's the same thing. It's predatory dominion behavior.
But listen, why are you asking logical consistency only from vegans? Because I could say the same.
I am not
anti-racists.
I am vegan, and I'm saying that it's.
Are you saying that you cannot be against racism if you're not vegan?
No, I'm saying if you are. I'm saying there might be some racist vegans, but they're hypocrites.
Yeah, and there are, elitist feminists.
I think racism and veganism are two different ideologies.
Well, there's speciesism.
No, I'm saying if you are vegan for ethical purposes, then you should be ethical for ethical purposes all the time.
For sure.
Yeah, if you're feminist for ethical purposes, then you should be a role model for humanity.
Jules,
what is a feminist for ethical purposes?
Yes, because they reject the oppression that women have to suffer because of their gender.
It's I mean if a human being who happens to be female is being oppressed, then it doesn't matter if she's being oppressed by a government of one man or a government of a million men. It's still wrong. What I'm saying is right is right and wrong is wrong. So
yeah, but that is not the purpose. The purpose of feminism is not to fix the world.
David, you might have to change the word you're using and call it neo-feminism because if you're so particular about the definitions and what words are being used, then you should clarify it being neo-feminism.
It's not about diet. It's about right versus wrong. Behavior is either wrong or it's not. So,
but the same, you should be telling all the anti-racist people and all the LGBT community that fights for justice for them, and you should be telling all the feminists.
There is no justice with a government that pays people $5,500 to abort at full terms. My state in Australia is the only state that does this. There's no justice.
Why are you vegan? Why do you care about animals? Is it because you have a conscience and you don't want to be hurt yourself, so you sympathetically suffer when you see animals getting killed? What makes it unethical? Is it violent or is it not? Do the animals deserve the violence or do they not? And if the animals do not deserve the violence, why do humans deserve the violence that government does to us on this animal farm known as Earth? This is the planet of the apes.
I think it ties in with the religious stuff too, Darren. There's considered ethical killing in the Bible and sacrificial ritual.
And the Bible is fake and gay.
With the commandments and shit.
It's absolutely evil. The Bible is absolutely the most disgusting, evil book on the planet.
Right. Then if you believe in justice, you should be a role model for all causes. That's what you're saying. But you're choosing to demand that from
How do you know I'm not a role model for all causes?
No. You are asking from vegans that they should oppose government and they should oppose all those other oppressions.
Correct.
But you are
to be
asking
morally
vegans.
Consistent.
You're not.
No, I'm.
Yeah, but why are you not asking that from?
Because vegans are the only LGBT people community. Who seem to care about that.
No. Yeah, really? Seem to care?
Yeah.
No. But why do you not ask from people demanding justice?
This is vegan group therapy. If somebody sees me in the grocery store and asks me why I'm buying plant-based stuff, I'm going to tell them the same thing. What I'm saying is,
no.
Morally, you can't be a government supporting vegan. You cannot.
Listen. What I'm saying is that you should demand the same logical consistency from everyone. And
I
if
do.
You go to a feminist,
That's what you said.
No. If you go to a feminist rally and say that they are not feminist unless they
if a feminist believes in government, they're not moral. They're an immoral person.
Yeah, they're not a feminist.
And if they are not vegan,
correct.
Are you saying that they are not feminist if they are not vegan?
No, feminists are not good people if they believe in government.
But
more taxes.
Are you denying the history of feminism? Because
what history? The CIA history of feminism, or the natural organic feminism.
We can say that the Rockefellers founded feminism, but
right.
If you believe,
the Rockefellers used the government to do that. It's the disease vector of all the evil in the world. So then they could
indoctrinate your children and make it easier to control us in the future. Destabilize the nuclear families.
Is government, the syringe is government, and they have different poisons. It's all evil. That's what I'm saying. The Bible is one of those poisons. Government is one of those poisons. The whole point of it is to kill you.
You are trying to use veganism as a panacea for every other injustice.
No,
that's not the case.
No.
Every justice movement.
No, he's just saying you can't
if that's the understanding you got, it's not what I'm trying to do.
At the same time, it's not like he's saying consistency, like moral consistency, in that he's making perfect sense to me, and I'm new to all this shit.
Yeah, Jules is
no. But then
so why can't a human just cannibalize other humans?
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Are you saying that you're not anti-government if you're not vegan?
Let me think about that.
If you're not
they're half-assed.
Inconsistent.
They're half-assed.
You claim to be a vegan. That's what he's saying.
If they're anti-government, they should be vegan. So I think every Alex Jones guy needs to learn that Alex Jones is fake, and they need to become vegan. They need to.
Plus, all those guys used to be conservative too. Those guys used to be conservative too, and it's fiscally conservative to not support subsidies.
that's such an that's such a confusion. You're
It
making
is.
basically every other movement become useless.
It is.
Well,
It is
do I have
useless.
the right to be a predator or not?
But
do the objects
I mean-
and beings in this world exist for me to predate upon them or not?
No, but that's a different issue.
Well,
from,
it's the
for
only
example,
issue with morality. If it's not part of that, then it doesn't involve morality or ethics. That's the only issue.
Yeah,
Is
but
it right or
veganism-
not?
But veganism is not the panacea for every other injustice in the
Veganism
world.
is
That's
a
what you need to
particular
understand.
specialty of morality and ethics.
No other movement says, well, you're not an LGBT defender if you're not vegan. Because they know that the victims that they are trying to defend are the LGBT community. So it's a different issue.
That's not. So what is LGBT?
Are you not an LGBT activist, an activist for the LGBT community? If you're
It
not vegan?
depends on what LGBT people are engaging in, what kind of behaviors. I'm against LGBT government of all kind, including government
against
helping
LGBT.
normalize LGBT things because government also normalizes eugenics.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about basic respect. I'm not talking about some
Like
plans-
you don't have the right to do violence against LGBT people any more than you have the right to do violence against a goat.
All right. So if you say that and you're not vegan, you're not an activist for the LGBT community.
No, they're a hypocrite. They believe in their pet cause. They have their pet cause like feminism or LGBT.
This is what happens
It's
when you start
complicating
making
it,
groups.
bro. I think it's
Yeah, there
all
are
life, not
all
just the
kinds of
LGBT.
allowing-
It's all life as a whole.
When you start allowing groups and talking in group format, it just cascades into bullshit.
That's what
Everybody-
dialectic does. That's what government does.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are
Why
all kinds
even
of
why
hypocrites.
even why even
But
categorize
that is
people
not-
as LGBTQ? Like why even do it?
Because
they're
Marx.
humans. They should be treated just like anyone else. And
Is it
just
okay
like
to
any
kill
other
gay
sentient
frogs?
being. Frogs, yeah.
Yeah.
Alex
No.
Jones says so.
I mean, is it okay to kill? Yeah. I mean, sometimes you see animals do gay stuff. That doesn't mean that we get to exploit them, you know? Did you know in the Talmud that you actually get to kill an animal if a human has sex with it? That's the
Talmud
recommended
says you can
course of
fuck a
action.
3-year-old as well, bro, and it's justified. I don't
Yeah,
think that's
what I'm saying. So, like, religion, government, they're the same thing. They're like justification engines, like Google, but for justifications.
Yeah.
Okay,
But without any of those texts, Darren, we wouldn't even have morals, bro. Like
What?
any of that.
Without what?
Without like the fucking
let me
the law
let
of
me
Moses.
understand
all
what
that
is
shit,
happening
you know.
Moses is a psyop, dude.
You
It's
reckon?
so disgusting.
So is the Apostle Paul. The whole New Testament.
Dude,
is a
so is
psyop.
Simon Peter, bro. He has an entire Shabbos named after him.
All those, none of that shit
Okay,
matters, dude. None of the religious shit matters. You don't need any of that stuff to know right from wrong. Like
Right.
I didn't learn any morals from the Bible.
You want to learn morality? Study Pythagoras or study Shankaracharya. That's morality.
Darren, so
Pythagoras is
anyone who's not a vegan is a hypocrite, right? In
You
your
mean
view.
anyone who supports government and that's vegan is a hypocrite? Yes. Anyone that supports government and continues to support is vegan
No,
and
but-
continues to support government is a hypocrite for sure. Because, dude, you're
Listen,
trying to
but
say
my
you
my
did a
issue is that-
false equation equating the LGBT community to anarchism.
Everybody should be
You can't
vegan and
compare those two
everybody
things.
should be anarchist.
How do you not support government? Where are you living right now, Jeff?
Oh, no. I don't mean materially support. I mean ideologically support. Everybody who buys gasoline or buys anything that's taxed I mean, if you move on the earth,
you can choose to pay more taxes.
No,
or
no,
less
but you don't believe it's right. Like, even if you don't eat meat,
you're
you
just
know that
reducing
meat
your
is
support, but you support it. So
well, dude. I mean, if you think about it, when you
you
purchase
could go
something
live in Afghanistan. You could go.
No, what I'm talking
you're
about
vegan-
is morality. No, that means
David.
like if you live on the earth, you kill animals indirectly, no matter what.
Why would, as a vegan, why would you support the system that subsidizes the meat and dairy industry? It makes no sense. It's as simple as that. Why would you support that system? That system.
I'll be
is
back
run by-
later, guys.
Where can you go and not support that system? Where can you go and not support?
You
that
can
system?
decide to go along with it, or you can decide to go against it.
Yeah, but where can you go? Exactly. Where can you go and live without supporting?
It's not
that
about
system?
going someplace. It's about a state of mind, bro. It's about changing your life and a lifestyle. Like,
Well, it's like it's like asking how can one be vegan in a world or society that's not vegan. It's like, well, you can make choices. Well, sure, you get in your car and you may run over a squirrel, you kill bugs. You can still make choices that are more moral and are choosing and are not, your diet. You can make choices about what you buy, what material. So it's the same thing with government. You can make choices in your life that don't prop up that system. Well, sure, there's
Yeah, but
things
why
that we
make-
buy that you have to pay tax on, like gas, whatever.
veganism
There's
is
still
one of
other
those things.
You can be a materialist and take a
Was-
job. You have to pay a shit ton of taxes and have all this material wealth, but you are funding and fueling all this money versus making the decision to lead a less materialist life and have less belongings and not engage in a monetary exchange where you're giving your money away to the government and funding the war machine. So it's just to respond to your question about that.
But no, my question is why veganism should be the only cause where people are allowed to say, well, you're not vegan if you don't do this and this and this and this and this.
Because veganism is a anarchist movement. Veganism is a anarchist move. So you can't call it something that it's not. It's a move against the status quo. It's a move against the state. The state owns this system that we're all a part of, that feeds us this meat from the day we're born, forces it down our throats practically, pays
And
for
then
us
that
to eat
like
it.
the
So
stock
how
exchange too, the markets.
veganism is a anarchist move. So you can't call it something it's not.
Jeffrey, where do you get that idea from? Because as far as I know, the
Anarchism is about no slavery, no slaves. That's the
With the
definition
government
of
agenda,
anarchism. No
with
slaves.
the government agenda, Jeff, there's going to be like no cows and no chickens or no pigs by 2050 anyway. So
I
people got
know
to
we
get
won't
ready
be
for
able to
this
enjoy
shit.
all the cows. All
Yeah,
the cattle.
there'll be none of that in like 30 years. They reckon that's what they're planning.
Dave, I got a question. In all these arguments, I've heard what's the argument where it's better off that the species goes extinct than serves a life as a slave, like in the system, like where they just keep what was it called?
Extinctionism.
Extinctionism. Yeah. What's up with that? And what do you think about that?
Another utilitarian idea. It's different from veganism. It's different from veganism. It's like, oh, well, if they don't exist, they don't suffer. It's another utilitarian calculation. But my problem is why mix issues? Because you're not a vegan if you don't do. Listen, I can agree with you. I hate governments. I don't vote. I don't go vote for another corrupt piece of shit.
Then you're not supporting it. Then why are you saying you support it if you don't even vote? That's literally supporting
because I pay
the government
taxes
and deciding
and
not to support the government.
And I could decide to go somewhere else
But you don't have to pay
No,
taxes.
you shouldn't have to.
Taxes are
You were born a
voluntary.
free person, dude.
You're just not allowed to defraud the government. That's
Where are you gonna go, dude? I've lived plenty of other places where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go move to Central America and be free, and it's like, no, there's just another fucking government there. So you have to make anarchy around you. You have to make it in your community.
But you're supporting maybe the worst of them all. You know, so you're supporting maybe the worst government of them all with your taxes.
USA?
Living there. Yeah, living there.
In Nicaragua or here? In the USA? Yeah, I agree. But I'm an agorist.
So
I take as much material support away from. We ride bicycles, bro. Like thousands of miles a year. We ride bicycles instead of using cars. Like we do. We live off grid. We do the least amount of harm possible, and we don't allow others to harm either. And that's really as much as you can do these days.
Yeah,
Always
but if
be
you are
trying to
going
do less harm and always allowing less harm.
But listen, Jeffrey, if you're going to promote a movement of people who only ride their bikes to go to work, as veganism, I have a problem with that. Because I use my bike.
Those are just our circumstances. It's extending the principles into our lifestyle and doing less harm.
Listen, you can see me here at 3 a.m. In the morning, at 3 a.m. in the morning on a bike, and it's dangerous. Here is dangerous. You can get stabbed.
You should see how many scars we have. She's got broken clavicle, I've broken ribs. It's dangerous. Driving cars is dangerous too, though, and it's dangerous to animals in your environment.
No, here is dangerous because you can get stabbed because people like your bike, so they stab you and take your bike away at 3 a.m. in the morning in Bogota. But you can see me at 3 a.m. in the morning, but I'm not going to say that people who don't do that are not vegan. And that's the problem that I have.
But bro, you could be wearing a machete and stopping that from happening by holding a machete on your having a machete. When I lived in Nicaragua, I didn't get messed with at all because I had a machete with me.
But then is it justified to then take another person's life over that bike, or just give them a bike?
No, it's rarely. Most sane people will not walk into death over a bicycle. So most people that someone has a machete, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to skip this guy. I'm not going to try and mug the guy with the giant machete. The big gringo in Nicaragua, the big tattooed gringo with the giant machete, I didn't get fucked with at all. So you can't expect government to take care of you. You can't expect government to take care of you.
I don't think we're not saying people who don't ride bikes all the time are not vegan, though. I think maybe that's a misunderstanding.
No, he was saying. Well, he was using a
if you support the government, then you're not vegan, and I have a problem with that because we need all sorts of people to become vegan.
You don't support the government, though.
But
and almost every vegan I talk to, once I talk to them enough, they admit they don't support the government. So why are you saying you support the government when you don't support the government?
If someone goes to vote, are they not vegan?
Are you voluntarily paying taxes? Do you voluntarily pay all your taxes?
He said that before.
Would you happily pay your taxes if it was voluntary?
No.
Then you don't support your government. And no matter how much you say we need a government, even though we don't support it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but other people.
You've been brainwashed since birth to think we need a government, even though we don't. That's why your logic is messed up here. And you see I can tell you're conflicted here because it doesn't make any sense. Veganism is an anarchist move.
Jeffrey, no, where does it say so? Where do
the government doesn't want us being vegan, bro. They don't want us healthy. They don't want us not supplying their system with money. They want us paying for their garbage food. So we end up in the hospital and give them all the money we made in our lifetime. We give it to them to live a couple more years because we ate like shit. We ate what they told us to eat our whole life. Like it's all the same system, dude. Why would you support that?
I'm not going to promote a movement of people who are only anarchists.
Okay, so what are these anarchists in your opinion? Remember when I talked earlier about a society? Hold on, David. Remember when I talked earlier about a society of people regulating their own their corporations that offer them services with their dollars, right? Like having a strong currency, no government monopoly there. The people are able to control the corporations and demand, and the free market, the competition makes the quality of the product go up as the price goes down. So why does that sound so bad to you? What is talk about going to your work tomorrow, not having a federal income tax? What sounds so bad about that?
No, because you're pretending that people who don't come to that conclusion are not vegans, and
they aren't.
I have a problem with that because
is an anarchist
vegan
movement.
Where do you get that from, Jeffrey?
It's a complete counterculture, complete move against the status quo.
Or Leslie Cross
it's one of the biggest moves from the status quo anyone could make. Is stop eating crap.
The founders of the movement said, well,
who? Pythagoras? Pythagoras started the vegan movement. What do you mean? You're talking about these guys in the 40s? I don't give a shit about what some guy in the 40s said about veganism. And maybe that's where we'll have a disagreement. You seem very stuck on this definition that these vegan guys made a long time ago. And I'm not diluting it. I'm actually making it better.
They coined the term. Pythagoras possibly wrote
Pythagorean diet? You mean the diet of Eden? They stole and renamed
something.
It's not
a diet. Pythagoras quite probably rode horses. It's not a diet. Pythagoras probably rode horses.
Probably, okay. That sounds like
So
Jesus probably ate lamb over Passover,
No, he's not. He was not a vegan. Veganism is not a diet.
Okay, well that's a whole different
He was a vegetarian, maybe. He was a vegetarian. Vegetarianism is the reason why veganism had to be created in the 40s, so that they could separate exploitation from non-exploitation. And riding horses is exploitation, so it's not a.
And supporting government supports exploitation.
What
with
those
humans
guys
and
in the
animals.
40s,
So how do you not get that connection? That supporting a government that subsidizes the dairy industry
but I don't.
is
But I don't think that I should say to all people that they have to agree with me. Otherwise, if they don't agree about the social structure that I want, then they are not vegans.
It's not a social structure. It's not a social structure, though. It's the natural state of the world. Anarchism is the natural state of the world. It was how it was before government. It's not some ideology, or it's not some whatever you just said.
Yeah, but my problem is we call in people who don't agree with that non-vegans. They are suddenly non-vegans because they don't agree with that, and that's my problem with that. Because
they agree with supporting the industry that kills, that has continued a tradition of killing animals. Because you don't support this, you're vegan. Wait,
Jeffrey,
what?
It's not about industries. It's about the mindset.
It is.
It's about hypocrisy,
no, it's not
David.
about industries. Listen,
it's
here in
completely
Colombia, there are
hypocritical.
people who have animals, and they exploit those animals in their own farm. So what?
David, I think you agree with. I think you agree with Natalie more than you're willing to admit.
No,
I think so.
Why? Why?
Because you think government's the solution to veganism.
No, where I
Yeah.
what when did I say that?
Because you think you can support government and be vegan at the same time.
No, it's.
It must mean that you have some faith that government is going to do something good. If you support government, that means you have some faith that it's going to do something good. But if it's only doing bad and never changes, Why continue to support something that's literally propping up the most harm, the most animal killing is supported by the U.S. government? Why would you tell people to continue to support it, or say that vegans somehow support that in some way, in any way with their ethics whatsoever? If you're saying it's an ethical movement, there's no way you can support government and agree with its ethics. You'd have to agree with everything government does in order to agree with it. But you don't, because you don't even vote. So I don't even know what you're arguing. But it sounds like Natalie Fulton thinking that eventually we're going to use laws to change and force people to be vegan.
I'm arguing that people who do support whatever candidate to the presidency are vegan.
It's not going to happen. They'll get murdered, bro. Like, they're not going to let that happen. They will lose their job. They'll lose that position. They have to play the game.
You're not
So,
getting
but
my
so
point.
you
I don't
know
want-
that
I don't want
you
a
know
movement.
that you know it's a mess, but you still say that.
Listen, I don't
it
want
should
a
be
movement
supported.
of people who have my own political ideology. Otherwise, they are not vegan. No, they have to reject animal use and whatever ideas they have about politics.
Ideologies are invented to control. You're falling into the trap.
I
that they
know.
set
I
for
know.
you.
Listen,
I am of the position of no political
the
views.
right wing
And going back to nature.
as much as the left wing politics. I hate them all.
Yeah,
I hate,
it's bad.
I hate politicians. I hate
Yeah,
politicians.
it's bad.
But
That's
I
why.
don't want. But I don't want to mix issues with veganism. Like, if they
Anarchism isn't an issue, though. It's not a
if they
virtue
don't
signal.
think-
It's not
if they don't think
a
the same as
social
me,
justice issue.
then they are not vegan. We
Social
need
justice
as
is
many
a
people to
oxymoron.
reject animal use as possible. Then maybe later on they might figure out why supporting governments is not going to work for animals. But maybe later. But right now, what we need is people who reject animal use to be able to call themselves vegans. Now, the problem is that people reject cruelty and call themselves vegans, and that is not veganism. And
Okay.
but if we are going to have a check,
And are those words so different that we have to talk about it so much? Cruelty and exploitation. I mean, they're pretty close to each other.
No, they're very different.
Okay,
Like,
maybe explain that.
If you go to a dumpster,
Yeah.
or if you wait for your friends to finish their meals, and they are going to throw away whatever is left on their plates, and since it's going to go to the trash, and you eat it, and you eat that, you're not a vegan. It doesn't matter if that's exploitation, right?
Yeah.
Is
You're,
it
you're
cruelty?
talking.
Maybe-
Yeah, it's called freegans, right? Freegans aren't real vegans. Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe you didn't pay for the cruelty. You didn't participate in the cruelty. Well, you participated.
Is eating roadkill exploitation?
Of course.
Obviously, yeah.
Exactly. Is using feathers for whatever purpose exploitation, which is the big one.
Yeah.
Because most people who consider themselves vegans, they say, well, no, it's not. But if the feathers are there on the floor, what is the problem? And the
Is
problem
it a
is the
big one, though,
instrumentalization.
if it's just something that's kind of rhetorical? You just said
No,
it's a big
that-
issue.
No,
like-
that's the beginning. That's the beginning of animal exploitation. Whenever people say, well, that might be good.
yeah,
for-
you're saying it's like a slippery.
You know,
what's it
No,
called?
it's not a slippery-
slippery slope, but
it's not
but,
a slippery slope.
a
we
where
already
it's like a short jump to the next. If you give
That's how
an
it
inch,
began.
they take a mile type of thing, right?
That's how it all began.
Yeah.
So should we not reject how it all began? because we are going to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that people see feathers or animal hairs or whatever comes from an animal as resources.
Yeah.
That's the root of the problem. If you don't reject that, you're not a vegan. But
Okay,
I'm
I
not
have a
going to tell
question.
you
I have a
that
question.
you have to agree with me in everything about
I have a
politics that I think
question.
about politics.
Okay,
to
I have a
call yourself
question.
vegan.
I got a
That's my
question for you.
problem.
I got a question for you. Okay, so let's say sometime, hopefully short from now, the whole world goes vegan, right? Animals and people are coexisting together. Obviously, we're stewards. We're supposed to be holding dominion or whatever. We're supposed to be stewarding these animals. We have a bunch of ducks that like decided they really like the pond we have in our yard, and we give them a little house so they're safe, and they dump some feathers over time. Since that human is coexisting with that animal and offering it a service that the animal seems to like, would that still be exploitation?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the world goes vegan, how are we going to deal with living amongst all the animals? We just going to set them all of them, just throw them in the wild and walk away?
No, you can live beside animals, but not perceive them as resources. That is the whole problem.
It's not. I mean, if they're getting resources from us, isn't it fair?
Listen,
and if they don't mind, it's not like we're plucking them off the animal.
If your mother dies, do you think that maybe we should make some leather with her skin? Net utility kind of thing. If your mother dies,
yeah,
you don't believe in
my mother.
Let's say that you don't believe in spiritual, religious things.
Yeah, and you just think
You
it's
say,
a vessel.
Should we make my mother into soap?
I think a better
the
analogy
corpse.
would be like, would we utilize, like, if you cut your mother's hair as an old lady as she got older and you sold the cut hair, that would be a more fitting analogy than selling her skin after she dies. Because I think your example was about the feathers that were dropped naturally, not using the bodies of the animals.
No, a better example is the one that I'm talking about, because we don't see
psychologically it would affect
we don't
how
see
we see
humans. We don't see humans as walking wigs. If you see Jews as soap, maybe there's a problem.
So okay, someone just said that if I don't give a shit about the founders of veganism, I'm not vegan. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, people
So
need
I have
to learn
to care
the
about
history.
some humans that
Yeah.
I've never met in my life in order to be vegan.
Yeah, people need
That
to
sounds like
learn
a load of bullshit to me.
The history. No, you need to learn the history of the movement.
I need to learn the
That
history.
is the whole problem. That is the whole problem, because if you say that Pythagoras was the creator of veganism, you're thinking about a diet. The creator of veganism was Donald Watson, who coined the term. And then they spent 7 years to come up with a definition that would allow animals to be free if we promote that kind of concept. But that's the problem. Nobody does. Because who cares what they said in 1944?
I don't need to
some
know all
English-
this stuff in order to
Yeah,
have
you need-
enough moral. No, not at all. That's like saying
Yes, you need to know.
you have to read the Bible to know morality. That's exactly the
Well,
same
then-
thing. It's
then- no,
total
no,
new age
then-
bullshit.
no,
I don't
no.
need to worship some guys that coined the term veganism. That's
Why-
nonsense.
Why do you reject the consumption of animals who die in accidents, the roadkill kind of thing?
Why do I?
Yeah.
Because it's
Why-
gross
why
and
do you think
unhealthy, and And
why do you think it's
I
not
don't
vegan?
promote people to eat animals because it's not healthy and not cool.
But that is not the vegan stance.
And I'd even
The
say
vegan
if that human has better access to food, they might be taking some other animal's dinner from them.
No, the vegan stance is that those animals are not resources for humans. Regardless
that's
of
what I just said.
health issues. Regardless of health issues. Now you said because maybe it's not healthy or something else. That is not the
someone
vegan
said
stance.
canines,
The vegan
bro.
stance. The vegan stance is that whenever I see an animal, I don't see a resource there.
Yeah. I think
And that's why my example about if your mother or your grandmother dies, we don't see the corpse as a resource.
Right. No,
Like,
I get what you're
oh,
saying. I think maybe the distinction here needs to be made of maybe like morality. There's veganism and then there's morality. You could ask a vegan, hey, do you think someone eating roadkill is a moral way to get calories? A vegan may say, okay, it might be moral, but it is not vegan, because I agree with you. A vegan, the psychology, once you embrace that, you understand and you do not see that corpse on the ground as food. I think that's, like I said, the distinction where a vegan may but may say it's not immoral, but it is surely not vegan. I agree with you.
So, David, there's a good question right there. How did the creator of veganism come up with the idea?
Well, they saw that vegetarianism was still the exploitative mindset of let's make these animals create stuff for us. So they said,
idea of not exploiting animals was not started in the 1900s, bro. It's just not gonna.
When did it?
This idea was not coined by some guy in the 1800s or 1900s. It's an idea that is far older. You don't think anyone in history, in thousands of years, there wasn't big groups of people just not exploiting animals?
No, there was this guy Al-Mari, the Arab poet, 1,000 years ago, was saying that he doesn't steal from nature, but it was like some sort of ascetic kind of life that he wanted to live because he wanted to be a morally virtuous person. He didn't say, well, humanity should live without exploiting animals. That was said by Leslie Cross in 1951. Or we can go back to maybe 1945, where Donald Watson said, well, veganism is against the exploitation of sentient life. And then they developed the idea into the definition of veganism in 1951. And that's very important because
it's not important at all.
The term, no, it's important because lifting welfarist logic thinks that if you eat dumpster corpses, you are vegan because you are not causing suffering or rights violations. And that is not vegan at all. That's a whole different concept. So people who have a big platform are spreading bullshit. And that's why this cosmic septic guy says, well, I'm causing maybe less suffering than the vegan gym bro. Because the vegan gym bro eats a lot more calories than me, and there are crop deaths involved.
Yeah, crop death, bro. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I totally agree with your
That's
stance.
the problem, because Leslie Cross never said, well, veganism is a movement to reduce suffering. He never said that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to know what veganism is by the founders and the people who coined the term and defined the term.
Yeah.
If Pythagoras rode horses, he is not a vegan. He was not a vegan.
Yeah, man, I agree.
So,
I totally agree with you.
All right. So veganism was founded in the middle of the 20th century, not not some millennia ago.
He was coined for sure.
Coined, maybe a term was coined, but the
Yeah,
idea.
didn't you say Pythagoras created veganism? That's like
No,
fucking
he was
ages
like
ago.
the first,
That's
big
a long time, bro.
Vegetarianism is not veganism.
Non-flesh eater.
Pythagoras was
Yeah.
plant-based.
Yeah.
Not because he
No.
rode horses and shit.
I'm
Maybe
just,
he
I'm
wore.
just pressing you,
Maybe
man.
he wore wool. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
he wore wool. Who knows?
Yeah. Probably.
So that's not
Most
veganism.
likely. Yeah.
That's not veganism.
And even okay, so you're saying that the claims of Christspiracy that Jesus was vegan, totally not true, because he most likely for sure wear wool and leather and probably drank milk and maybe who knows.
Yeah, and
That makes
who
sense.
cares?
Yeah, they were
And
simply
also
not.
who
They were
cares?
They were not flesh eaters. They were vegetarians. They weren't vegans.
And also, who cares?
That makes sense.
That is not a principle. If you say, "Well, I don't eat animals because Buddha didn't eat animals," who cares? That is not a principle.
Yeah.
The principle is the internal realization that you have no right to do it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So that the conspiracy shit, to me, it's a bunch of bullshit. Who cares what Jesus did? I don't even believe in fucking Jesus.
I do.
To
I'm
me,
Christian, but that's okay.
To me, that's a fucking myth. But
Sorry,
I'm not here to talk about the myth of
It's okay. You showed up for me.
some guy in what they call the Middle East, what the British call the Middle East, because it's the middle between where they start with England and India. So they call the Middle East, but it's not the Middle East. But well,
Do Hindus and Buddhists, do they eat meat, or are they full vegetarian as well? They're like,
to trigger a bunch of people.
do they eat meat or not?
They're vegetarian.
Okay, so they're vegetarian. This is cool then,
Many
because
are.
like I heard the other week Darren was talking about Vimanas and things like that, which is like flying buildings, bro. And there's still some standing today that you can actually look up and go have a look at, bro. If they're not eating meat or any of that, and they can manage to make concrete fucking float, I think it's worth taking into consideration some of their practices, for sure. But that's in the Mahabharata. That's a sacred Hindu text and things like that. But yeah, don't knock Jesus, man. If you have a scary encounter with a demon, just say his name, bro, and watch it flee. But
listen, vegetarianism is the opposite of veganism. It's the opposite.
oh, well, you just don't eat fucking meat, do you? So you just like
See,
have some similarities. But
No, vegetarianism is the
Ethically
practice.
very different.
Yeah,
vegetarianism's like
practice
veganism is what, like the Jainite sort of version of it, where they don't like the labor of any animal.
Yeah,
Listen,
well,
some-
vegetarians don't give a shit about the animals dying in the dairy industry and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're obviously very different than vegans that are fully against exploitation and the testing on animals, the leather, wool, down,
They might-
vegetarianism,
they-
don't do all that.
Listen, they might even give a shit and have some cows in a family farm, and have some chickens and exploit them for eggs and milk. So that is not the point. The point is not whether they kill them. The point is whether they see them as vending machines for whatever they want. That is the point of veganism in 1944. That was what they were trying to create. Veganism came about to end thousands
And
of
it's not
years
sustainable.
of
Like the farming industry is not sustainable. With chickens, particularly, for every kilo of feed they eat, they drink 2 liters of water. So like the facility that I worked at, it's fucking hundreds of thousands of liters of water as well. It's not really a sustainable practice in the long run, because water's becoming a finite resource. Our tables are getting lower and lower, and they're not like filling back up.
Yeah, but you can have chickens for eggs, and
not
Yeah, but that's
even-
unethical then too, because then that's in what like
Exactly.
we're talking about. That's the labor of the animal. Yeah, and
Exactly.
the eggs, bro. The chickens are laying the eggs so they can continue to reproduce, and you know,
Exactly.
they have a purpose. They till the soil. They fucking produce nitrogen in their shit, which fertilizes soil. They have a purpose. Just like slugs and snails, they break down iron in the soil with their slime. So if you got heaps of slugs and snails in your garden, it just means you got too much iron in your soil. It's an indicator. They're not just there to eat your veggies.
But but maybe human shit has some purpose, but we don't need more humans, or do you? Or
No.
do you believe that we need more humans to crap all day long?
Nope. We'll get back to this video for a little bit.
And history. And I would even say that it's a misunderstanding. It's a willfully ignorant mindset to these facts. As we're going to see in this video by Larkin.
So I already debunked everything he said. So he's going to base his whole video off the things he already said, which were completely fallacious arguments.
Anarchists are basically toddlers playing make-believe, except they're old enough to vote and loud enough to think they matter. Anarchism is a fantasy for people who have never worked a real job, never had to pay a payroll, and never had to deal with what human beings are actually like.
These are some
Anarchists, in my opinion, the ones that I have
shouldn't this guy not
that I've had to interact
be
with.
using so many fallacies if he's such a smart guy and he's going to make a point? Like, so far, it's just been a fallacy fest. Nothing, no real statements yet. Bunch of ad hominem. Hasn't really said any information backing up these ideas.
They're sheltered babies. They probably grew up in the suburbs somewhere. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Describing
We're going to see that right
himself
now.
right
Like
now
I said,
to
in this video titled Life Under Anarchy by Larkin Rose. This very suspicious character who, the entire 3 minutes before this, he talks into a triangle on his hand. And yes, I have to point this out because I don't trust any of these YouTubers. I believe a lot of them part of the club. Especially somebody like this, who you can't find any of his family record before he was a YouTuber, even though he uses his real
Symbolism
name.
matters so
Apparently
much.
This is his real name.
Anyone
There's
who
records
makes
with this
it-
name. But you
anyone
can't find
who
out
does
anything
this
about this
with their
guy
hands means
before
they're
1999 or 1990.
Right? Got it.
But he loves to talk into his triangle hand.
Triangle
he loves to
hand.
pull off the Elon Musk hand thing, except instead of holding it down in front of you, he has to do it like this. So he actually has a double triangle. He has a triangle this way.
Double
and He has a
triangle,
triangle in his
that's
hand.
even worse.
And of course, you can put
He's
more
super
triangles. in it, okay?
satanic.
Is this intentional? Maybe it's not. But I don't trust people who talk like this. But anyway, let's look at some of the things that
So,
Larkin Rose says in this
I
video.
throw the
and then
baby
we're
out
going to
with
look
the
at his
bathwater
reply
because
to my
someone
comment
does this.
to see just how childish of a mentality this man baby really has.
He's describing himself.
Let's start here. I
All
believe this is when
a
he's talking about,
projection.
basically before this part of the
man
video.
baby.
You guys can go watch this whole video yourself. It's only 8 minutes long. But before this part of the video, he just sets up a thought experiment. He's like, just imagine tomorrow we wake up and all of the governments of the world have ended. Nobody believes in political authority anymore, and there's anarchy around the entire world. That's his thought experiment, right? Let's see where he takes this thought experiment to show how immature this mind is.
Uncertain, but he tells you that he still.
Let's bring it back. Okay, so essentially what happens here, up to this point, he begins the thought experiment. He says that a guy wakes up, he looks out the window, the sun has still risen, and then he says that like this guy goes outside, he sees his neighbor, everything is fine. Him and his neighbor decide to walk over to the 7-Eleven. And by the way, it's really funny because he's like, oh yeah, they step out onto their lawn. So to me, this says like, okay, this guy grew up in a place that had lawns, in a place that's more of a suburb and not an urban environment. So
from
that gives us a little
Arizona.
insight into his mind. Like everybody in his world has a lawn. So okay, they wake up, they go into the lawn, they have only one neighbor. Oh, good thing there aren't apartment buildings around you filled with fucking gangs like many urban environments have. So you get to just walk outside. Oh, you only have one neighbor, and your neighbor is on good standing with you. So in his world, everybody's neighbors like them. So to begin with, he lives in a world where there is no turmoil.
So because gangs, Larkin is wrong, right? Isn't that what we're talking about? What's the word? Not utilitarian, but selection.
More realist?
No.
Collectivist?
No. The yeah.
Sorry.
So
lives in a world where there is no friction. He lives in a world where everybody just gets along with their neighbors, and they all have lawns. Okay. Then they go down to the 7-Eleven, and this is what he says about the 7-Eleven worker.
You see that it's open. The usual guy behind the counter looks a little uncertain, but he tells
Isn't
you
that kind of a
kind of like
intersectional argument right there he just made? Like, oh, because gangs happen, Larkin Rose's anarchy can't work.
money, so he decided to keep selling stuff to willing customers.
Okay, so this is a little bit believable. A guy working at 7-Eleven not realizing that the value of money will completely collapse, or at least the fiat currency that he's working at the 7-Eleven for, putting his life on the line. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's anarchy. Let me go down to my 7-Eleven job. You know, those places aren't known for being held up at gunpoint. Let me go to this job for my minimum wage. I'll just get a little bit of USD that in a month will be valueless. So in Larkin's anarchist society, the fiat currency that people go to...
There's another big assumption that that a currency wouldn't immediately pop up. A use of the old currency might be used for a while. There can be anything can be used as currency. That would take overnight for the free market to come up with how we're going to pay people. We just go back on precious metals pretty easily. There's plenty of precious metals in this country. He's making a bunch of assumptions, and these are loaded statements he's making. And the questions he's asking himself are all loaded with dumb fallacies. So I'm not really sure how
the work for somehow magically maintains its value. Oh yeah, I like money, and that's funny. It's like idiocracy in this guy's mind. Oh, I like money. Oh, I like money too.
What's idiocracy is thinking only a centralized government can make a currency, and can make money, and can make something have value, tangible value. Anything can be of value.
Jeffrey, I'm getting hungry, man.
What's that?
He's getting hungry.
I'm getting
hungry.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
cool, man. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Come by anytime.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for talking.
Cool. Thank
you, dude.
See ya.
Later.
Oh, it's okay that's a fiat currency that's going to be fucking valueless in a couple of weeks, but money, fucking retards. Sorry, I'm getting upset there. Let me try to keep it calm and collected.
If the community, say for instance, the U.S. government disappears, right? We have a pretty good number. We have a pretty good idea of how much fiat is in the market, right? And if the entire community still gives that fiat value while there's a transition going on from one currency to another, that fiat has value because the whole community says it does. It doesn't mean that what he's saying is, oh, no matter what, this fiat currency is going to be worth nothing, but it's already worth nothing. It's only worth money because we believe it is. And we can believe that that currency is worth money, whether or not there's a federal government there or not. The money doesn't even come from the government. It comes from the Federal Reserve, which is a private fucking corporation. So this guy's garbage argument here.
And you show up. He also informs you he won't be collecting sales tax anymore. But while you and your neighbors stroll the aisles deciding what to buy, a very sketchy-looking character bursts through the front door, wielding a knife and demanding that the teller hand over the cash.
Okay, so in Larkin's, his anarchist utopia, there's only going to be one criminal. You got only one bad guy coming in, and he comes in with what? A knife? Oh yeah, there's anarchy. I said, let me go hold up the 7-Eleven with a knife.
People do it all the time. People have done it in all of history.